videos, learning, watching,
I'm gonna
improving.
get a diet. I'm gonna get a Diet Coke real quick,
things from
Connie.
him.
Gonna
And the
fill
number
up.
11 truck. He started 24th, is already up in 8th place. And that's the way the cookie crumbles at Talladega. Behind him is Brad L. Bothwell. Been racing with us for, 2 seasons now in the number 9 truck. He started in 10th, currently sitting in 9th. I suspect, like many others, he's just kind of taking it easy, waiting for his opportunity to strike, get with some drafted buddies, in and out of the pits. Behind him is Ronnie German. Used to race with him in the high fives and the Kerwin clock days. You know, your hair on fire, situational awareness type stuff. 069
Hair on fire,
of Ronnie
situational
German.
awareness.
We got Darren
let's
M.
go,
Reeser
Annie.
in the 34. Al Cena started 12th, currently in 12th.
All right, heading on
No
in.
gains, no losses. Good old Al Cena, good driver. Chase him around a 1.5 mile track. Be
What are you doing? Qualifying?
Be in for a workout for sure. Behind Al, we got Rick. I don't even know how you say that name. Kadode?
Kodopi?
Rit Kadode.
Rip Kodopi?
See, Rit has an I rating of 884 and a B license. So thank you, Rit, for taking it easy and coming out here and racing with some of the best and learning and watching, I'm sure. But he started way in the back at 30th and has worked his way up to 13th already. It's anybody's game. Mr. Craig White, my favorite Canadian, sitting in 14th, lost a couple spots, but this is Talladega. I'm sure he'll be back up there in no time. Jeff Smith, 11, one of our winners last season in the Race Fanatics. He started 29th, has worked his way up to 15th.
Is it? You're still loading? Mine's still loading too.
And it looks like we got a few folks stopping in the pit lane. Looks like LG Willie, Darren Reeser, Brad, Craig White, Brent Lee, Rick McKinney.
Looks like it could be the practice before the
all
qualifying,
stopped in the
or it
pits
could be
for some
qualifying
gas.
already.
And I'm sure some said
I gotta turn down the broadcast. Sound on here.
So Tim, you got anything working yet?
Yeah, we're working on it right now. Give me just a second, sir. Check. Checky check. Check. Good. Check.
All right, let me fix that one.
Alright, we're gonna lower the sound in the sim here.
There we go. I got it now.
Nice. Yeah.
1.7. Actually, let's lower it all together here. Slash. Raising his volume up so I can hear him here.
All right, we're going to the Georgia Limousine Limp to take a look as we get ready to start the race here.
Green.
Alright, I think I should be good to go. Did we miss qualifying, huh?
All right, cool. Well, glad to have Tim and Michelle with us here to help me broadcast. I got the live feed going, and it looks like, as suspected, Gary Jenkins pulled out front and got high so that his pushing partner, Maurice Johnson, left Everett Fastlane hanging high and right down there at the bottom. Nobody wants to seem to be working with Everett today. If I was up there, I'd definitely be giving him a good show. See what happens as the 4 trucks stay high on the high lane there. They're all working together, making their move. And the field's spread out quite a bit now. Because it is leader choice here at Race Fanatics. At the Georgia Limousine 500, you do not have to wait for the green light to go to take off. So we have spread the field out quite a bit to make any ground or any movement. With some racing partners and get in that draft to work your way through the field.
I think I've raced with Gary Jenkins a couple times, especially the Gary Jenkins 2. I think it was back when he had a lower I rating and coming through the field, because I can't seem to get my I rating above about 1500, and then I drop back to 500. So these guys are super fast that are in this field right here.
Oh yeah, I can. Let's see. We got Everett Fastlane race with him quite often. That's a good point. He's got an I rating of 4,522. I don't know what he does differently than the rest of us, but whatever he's doing right. We got Robert Harrison, the 808, the Basement Bob truck. He's got a 3348 out here. A lot of good drivers out here. A lot of guys in the 3s. Kenneth Mikesell, 3,500. A lot of guys with good safety ratings too, which says a lot about the drivers. They care more about being safe out there on the track, racing clean, and winning the fairways. They don't like to race like the Kyle Busch guys out there and block and booger hook people because, you know.
Where you're talking about them playing it safe as they're going 3 wide down the backstretch. So.
Yeah, you can do that at Talladega. I know that all the guys up there in the top 15 are all good racers. I really don't know the 37 too well, Rick Codette, but every single one of those other guys, 3 and 4 wide any day of the week. I know they could do it. They got the muscle. They got the know-how. That's for sure.
Rick.
Yeah, I mean, that top pack really took off, so.
Let me go back to this right here. I see it there. Let me put it on pause. Going back here. Go up through the field. And I'm watching along. Looks like, who is that? Dan Jannon, 32. Yeah. And 17.
Looks like 17's running, maybe.
Yeah, Jeremy C. Poole of 17. Looks like he accidentally hooked Dan Jannon of the 32.
It doesn't look like he's got any damage, though. I'm not seeing any damage on the 17 whatsoever, are you?
Yeah, he's got no damage. Jeremy C. Poole hooked the 32 of Dan Jannon and put him in the walls, brought out that caution. Again, that's why we have quick repairs. Hopefully they don't have to tow and don't go down a lap. They get in there, fix them up, come back out, and race again. All right, going back live.
I'm looking at the 16 car Rachel Hunt. She's in the field as well. Raced with her quite a few times. Excellent attitude and a female driver to boot.
Not only is she a female driver, she's a good female driver.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Better than I.
Yeah, many times I'll be out there racing and I just can't seem to catch her. I don't know what she does differently. She's got a lighter frame or something, and I got a couple extra pounds on me. A little weight penalty. We got some guys going in the pit. Looks like the limo man is taking a pit stop today. Check out the pit times.
Well, I know I got a little weight on me when my Indy car is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts.
Was that Jeff? Looks like the limo man came in with a 7.32 seconds in the pits. I suspect he got maybe 2 tires and some gas. So he's in and out.
Quite a few pit stops and lead changes. I mean, you look at Gary Jenkins, who was in the lead, and now he's in back in 35th. Or no, excuse me, he's he's not in the lead anymore, is he?
Yep. Usually you got to come around and go after the pits, go across the stripe again before it clears itself up. iRacing is a great simulator, as close to the real thing as you can get out there.
Yeah, there he is.
But
He's
it
right up in the
definitely
lead.
ain't
I'm thinking his number is 35. See, that's what happens when you talk all day for a living and then you try to help broadcast a race.
Oh, I appreciate it, brother. You do got a sweet, savory voice of that. Michelle must really like that when you're doing pillow talk.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. You'd have to ask her. What do you think, Michelle?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just pretty good?
Yeah.
Well, up here in Cincinnati, Estelle, since you're from my neck of the woods, I'm sure you're about 9 years younger than me. So I don't know what time you moved out of Cincinnati or when you moved out of Cincinnati, but you probably listen to WEBN, right?
The Frog? Of course. Who hasn't?
1027 WEBN. It's Squiggy checking in with new Metallica. WEBN.
No shit. That's awesome.
Did it for 9 years here in Cincinnati. It's Tim Matthews and Squiggy. So it was a good time. I mean, my real last name is Rangers. You can't use your real last name on the radio, or you get a bunch of teenage stalkers.
High atop Frog Mountain.
There used to be one, Moby and Matthews.
I will tell you, back in the 90s when I was on WABN, we were very high atop Fox Mountain, if you catch my drift there.
Yeah, I do. Whatever happened to a Wild Man Walker? He was around back when I was a kid.
Wild Man is actually still living in Cincinnati, and we could actually give him a call right now because he's on my mobile phone if you want to hear his smooth, silky Woolworth-selling sports voice.
Oh, man, I love the Wild Man.
He's a crazy guy.
Fun fact for the fans out there watching, he would sleep in a box on top of a billboard for different charities and competitions, and would be up there for like 90, 100 days at a time. It's pretty wild. You could walk down the streets of Cincinnati and yell up at him like, "Hey, Wild Man, you having fun?" And he'd be up there and poke his head out of his little cardboard box and give a wave to everybody. So
yeah, people would pull over and stop and give him cases of Budweiser and things of that nature. It was good times. He still talks about that as one of his worst moments when he had to stay up there for 13 straight weeks in the dead of winter because he said the Bengals were going to win the next game and he was going to stay up on top of the billboard until they did, and it was the entire next season before they won.
Yes, sir. I'm still a diehard Bengals fan. I'm sitting in my man cave decorated with Bengals stuff now. Don't know what to think about it.
We really shouldn't tell people we're Bengals fans. They might tune out.
Yeah. Well, this year anyway.
Go Kansas City.
Go Cowboys. It's America's team, right?
There you go, Cowboys. So yeah, there's some good-looking cars out here.
Yeah, I was telling Chris earlier, I wonder who painted the Limo Man's car, Mr. Michael Pegg of the 777. Good-looking car.
It sure is. I like that Ritz Cracker car. That was that behind Jenkins. It's what Everett Lane's car. He just needs like a piece of cheese to go with it. Maybe.
Fast Lane. So Fast Lane, been racing with him for such a long time. I was actually stationed out in Delaware for about 6 years, and I guess he's in northern Delaware. We were supposed to meet up, and when he was down there doing some contractor work, and he never could come out. I guess he was too busy working to come say hi to an old race friend. But we call him Fast Lane. He's a good race truck driver, that's for sure. The highest I rating in the room right now. Everett Fast Lane.
Actually, I think I'm looking at number, what was it, number 37 is in that Ritz Cracker car. He needs like a block of cheese to go on his, on his truck bed. He'd be perfect. Got the Ritz Cracker and then maybe a big block of Wisconsin cheese. It'd be perfect paint.
Yeah, it's just a red Ritz Cracker truck. It's nothing special. I like it. It works.
Yeah, this is a tough track when you get to drafting so close to gain that speed, and then you're 2 lanes wide. Just any little mistake on Talladega, and I've run plenty of these on Carb Cup over the years that I've been iRacing, and just any little mistake and you're out. And when you get down to the last 10 laps, you're gonna see them open it wide, and it's on. I mean, this is gonna be some fun tonight.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. Looks like we got the Busch Light car to number 82 of Paul Fletcher. Maybe him and the Rich Cracker guy can swap and have a little meal there. We don't condone drinking and driving here, but drinking and racing is perfectly okay when you're sitting at home behind your sim racing machine. Brad Bothwell knows all about that. Speaking of Brad, we'll take a look at him and his Napa Valley truck in the number 9. Good old Brad. He puts down the sauce while he races a little bit every now and then, but he claims he's given it up the past few times.
You
And,
might
he's been doing pretty good.
might want to if you're wrecking into people when you're saucing it up. Now, a lot of these people from Canada now, it's that weed is legal now up in Canada, so a lot of these guys might have a little edge over the other drivers because it keeps you a little more focused at times.
Yeah, we got, let's see, Paul Fletcher from Canada with his Canada tag. We got Craig White from Canada.
You guys want a competition?
And that's all. And usually we got Harold Dicker and a couple of the other guys in here too, but I guess they couldn't make it tonight. All right, looks like we're coming around to the front stretch. It is leader's choice, and we'll watch the race happen.
That's right.
Green flag, green flag.
Looks like
Looks like-
Everett got hung out to dry by that car that was behind him, the 00 Thomas Horner.
Yep. Everett probably tried to get behind Maurice there because Maurice is always pushing Gary. Those two work really well together. And trying to break away from the pack. Don't know if they can do it or not, but they're definitely hooked up right now. We got the Cracker Man 37 pushing Thomas Holder.
Flag is out.
Looks like they're trying to work it up. Oh, we got an incident going. Back and look at it.
I didn't see it. No idea who was involved in it.
I didn't either. I'm looking for it.
Ah, I see it. I see it. It looks like the 44 car was involved. 44 car is actually smoking. That'd be Kenneth Mikesell.
Oh, Kenneth. All right, I think I got the start of it here. We're going to look at it on the replay. Looks like Rodney Germain bumped the 23 a little too hard and sent him down into the lower lane of Douglas Johnson and caused that wreck right there. We'll look at it one more time on the replay. Very unfortunate. Collected Jeremy Funk. Go back and look at him as he was coming to the field. He tried to avoid it, but just couldn't get around. .44 was also collected, Kenneth, and he ran into Jeremy Funk there. And that happens at Talladega. Sometimes you push those brakes so you don't collect the other truck drivers out here, but unfortunately it happens when you're spinning around going 180 miles an hour, you really don't have any control over your truck, and it's unfortunate you become a ping pong ball and start hitting the other drivers. Lap 26 of 188.
Yeah, with this many drivers, we're going to have a lot of cautions at a track like Talladega tonight, that's for sure.
Somebody's got a American flag paint scheme out there. Looks pretty sharp.
Y'all remember we were being broadcast.
Looks like it's Rodney Smith of the 96. Got the old red, white, and blue paint scheme.
Can they hear you? Can the broadcast people hear the drivers?
No. I got
was
muted.
just told they
But
cannot
check that
hear
out.
you.
In the 96
cut
Rodney
each other
Smith's
out all
truck,
you
he's
want.
got the famous picture of Iwo Jima where they were raising the flag at the top after they finally won the island.
I'm just
Pretty
kidding.
cool
we
looking
don't-
truck
we
there.
don't do
Very
that.
patriotic.
Hey, you're still in the military, aren't you?
I retired last year in May. Currently here at New Mexico with my wife and her sister. Her husband's still serving. He's in the Air Force working on F-16s, and we came to get a job down here so my wife could be with her sister for a while.
Michelle was actually in the service for quite some time in the Rangers household here.
Really? What service did she join?
The Army.
The Army. All right. How they say it? The green keeps marching on, or something like that.
Yes. Yep. Joined in 1990. I was only there a year, though. I was honorably discharged for medical reasons. They tried to kill me.
Tim did.
Oh no!
It was an appendectomy gone wrong.
The army tried to kill her. Appendectomy gone wrong. I hate those damn appendectomies, whatever the heck they are. She's a nurse, so she knows what she's talking about. I have no idea what an appendectomy is. It sounds painful.
I'd have to Google it.
I wouldn't even know how to spell it.
Well,
That's
maybe
when
she-
they take your appendix out.
Oh.
Oh, well, why didn't you say that?
Because I'm a
did.
nurse and I'm used to using nursing terms.
All right, makes sense, makes sense. She's talking over her heads, boys. That's what she's doing. She's trying to set a standard here.
Don't raise the bar too high. You give us a bad name.
I know. That's what I keep telling her. Looks like Gary's holding on to that lead pretty well, though. I mean, when you're considering only going a half a lap to 3/4 of a lap, though, you know, it's all about the starts at this point. I mean, if you get a good start, you may have a chance to lead a few laps.
Well, any more cautions, people might start running out of quick repairs. I thought the race would go better than this today, but fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of the trouble's happening in the middle or the back of the field, and all the guys up in the front are relatively safe.
Well, there's a little bit of a change with Maurice Johnson moving into Everett's spot on that.
Yeah. So we're on one to go now. Once we get around to the stripe, I can predict what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Gary Jenkins at the 35, he's going to take off early on the start, try to get a little bit ahead of the field. Once he clears Maurice Johnson on the outside, he's going to pull up because he wants Maurice Johnson to push him because those two are partners. Everett Fastlane will probably have the 37, the Rich Cracker truck, stay right on his bumper, and those 5 trucks or 4 trucks will probably hook up in the front there and try to sneak away a little bit. But I doubt it because Thomas Holder of the 00, followed by Paul Fletcher of the 82, will try to make the run on the outside. That's what I predict. Let's see what unfolds here. And you guys can let me know if I'm right or wrong.
What are the odds on that?
I don't know, Chris. You know those guys as well as I do. What do you think? Earth to Chris. He probably stepped away to go tinkle or something.
Had to take a big old deuce.
Probably take 2.
Hey Thomas, is that white truck in front of this blue one in front of me? That got damage on the rear?
Alright, I'm going to do some funky stuff with the camera work here. Get a nice shot of the front. And as I called it, Gary took off.
Doesn't want to take off too much and lose the draft to that 24, because that 24 is going to be able to push him.
Green, green, green.
Yeah, Everett works well with those. See, Gary came up and he wants his partner, Maurice Johnson. And
Now
Thomas Holder's coming up.
left Everett out. He's got enough room to sneak in. He's sneaking in. Might he snuck in.
Look at that.
What a move. What a move.
He had to split up the dynamic duo of Gary Jenkins and Maurice Johnson a little bit there. He said, I'm tired of looking at your fellas' tailgate. Now you get to look at mine for a little bit.
Boy, he's about to lead a lap.
Yeah, I'm right behind you. I got Michael back behind me too.
So earlier before you got here, Tim, I was telling everybody we have 12 different prizes we're giving out today. First place is going to get $100. Second place will get 20. Third, fourth, and fifth gets 10. Sixth and seventh gets 5. The guy Mr. David Addison, the Hornet, he got $10. The outside pole was Mr. Gary Jenkins, he got 5. And the person who finishes in the best place with the fewest amount of incidences gets $10. And then I have 2 mystery prizes as well to give out, and I'll disclose that at the end of the race. If I say it now, we'll be guys jockeying for those positions, that's for sure. What we'd like to see more than anything is everybody stick it out, have some fun, you know, race clean, meet other good drivers out there, and give it everything they got, and hopefully learn from some of the better drivers out here, and get out there and be competitive in the official races.
That's some heck of surprises. $100 to first? Why am I in the booth with you?
Sounds good. I'll just come follow you.
Because you showed up late.
Nobody's
Had to work. Had to make the donuts.
Or the Ritz crackers. Well, it looks like Everett has found a partner in the Ritz truck. Number 37 of Rit Carote. Do you think perhaps he has a Ritz truck because his name is Rit?
You know, that could very well be. Makes sense. He should just Photoshop the Z off.
Well, there you go. But still have the Ritz crackers so everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, it can just be the Rit Cracker.
Start a new off-brand, maybe Cracker Empire, sell it across the world.
Showing up at every Dollar General near you.
And they're everywhere, too.
That Maurice Johnson is really pushing Gary Jenkins. He was right on his bumper.
Yeah, usually when I'm racing, I usually pair up with those two as well. Really good old fellows, really fun to race with. They definitely know their super speedway racing for sure. So I'm going back to Travis Turnmeyer here. He's in 21st. As you can see, we got Travis, Kenneth,
Check.
and Robert Bearson and Robbie Singleton. A 3-pack here. They've lost the main pack somehow, but they've hooked up. I suspect they're going to try to gain up some time if they can, and hopefully catch that main pack there. If they fall back too far, they'll end up going a lap down. My mic's still open?
Now I can't hear him. What the hell is going on?
So it looks like those guys are losing time here. Maybe once they catch up to Rodney German, the four of them and go 2x2, a little bit faster 2x2, and maybe make up some ground. Otherwise, they're going to have to hope for a caution if they're going to be able to catch up. Going back up here to the front pack. Still lots of trucks there. Looks like everyone's being cordial and taking it easy.
Yeah, so far I think this is the longest green run, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it ties the first run we had before you guys showed up. We had about 11 laps green.
Well, the pack of 40 cars is out.
Looks like we're down to 37 trucks. Still on the lead lap.
Well, they just keep moving out of my way.
Looks like we got a couple guys going 3 wide there trying to make a move.
Gotta check up, gotta check up.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm having some mic issues here, so. All
The one below the yellow there. Let's see if he can make it back up without wrecking.
time to check any of
He did. That was number 98.
That would be Paul Witt. Let's go back and take a look, see what happened. Looks like we got
Yeah, I told you I was checking up, and then I guess you didn't check up in time.
yellow. 39 reacted appropriately. Let him back on the
We're all good.
good situational awareness by the drivers and avoided that caution on lap 39. Now, pitch back up to the main pack.
Yeah, those top 10 cars just broke away from the pack.
You're not hitting
so
me much
hard.
because it's calling for zero on the 4X. So
Yeah, it's a misnomer that a lot of people think if you stay single file in a line, you're faster. But if you have 4 or more vehicles, it's actually better to go 2x2 or 3x3, depending on how many vehicles you have. You're actually faster. So that front pack that you have 10, 5 on top, 5 or more on the bottom, their top speed down the straights is going to be faster than everybody else's.
it's all right. They're gonna crash.
Their only hope
Check,
is,
check.
If Paul Witt can push Corey Cook there, stay in that single file line, maybe if they can still sniff the front pack's draft just enough, they'll be able to maintain a higher top speed on the backstretch and end up catching the main pack again.
I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but that 603 and 388 car keep blinking in and out. And my wife and I are in a gigabit down and 500 megabyte up connection, so I don't believe it's us.
Yep, I hear ya.
A lot of them doing it earlier. I believe it's iRacing.
What's up? We got some free wide action right now. Rick McKinney is pushing the number 18 truck of Jay Anderson on the outside, trying to make a move. Trying to get back up there with the guys in the front. And it looks like we got a new leader just now. Fast lane overtook. And he's back with the cracker man.
They are nose to nose. Coming down that backstretch right now. Just nose to nose. It's a drag race.
I'll go high. I'll go high. I'll go high, Jimbo. Go.
We got the limo man rounding out the top 13 trucks up here in the front pack.
Looks like Maurice looks like he just gave up on Gary. Gary filed in though. He filed in. Maybe that was their plan.
They may be getting ready for some pit stop action.
Yeah, what's the fuel gauge like on this? I mean, how many laps can they go on a full tank with old tires? I mean, these cars are gonna run out of gas eventually.
Yeah, today's race we got it set at 75% fuel maximum. If you do maximum fuel in a truck, you get about 40 laps. So I suspect around 32, 35 laps we should see some pit stops. And it looks like the 4-pack right behind the main pack, Jimbo and Thomas Haley, Corey Cook, and Paul Witt. They're losing time just a little bit. They lost about 0.2 of a second, which is not a lot.
Caution comes out.
All right, gonna go back and look at it.
Well, it's not the lead pack.
Ooh, man. So, I'm going through the controls here. Travis Turnmeyer. Looks like Travis Turnmeyer turned number 85 Alcina. Like wow.
If you can
An
find
absolute
who's
mayhem of trucks. Look at that.
you can find where the cautions
Ooh,
are.
let's go to Blimp. Look at that on replay.
You can, you're welcome to talk anytime you want. If you see something, be like, look at that. That's a pretty.
They were at least one.
Yeah, after you hit me, Thomas, I think I'm going to go ahead and use one too.
Looks like at least 7-car pilot.
Looks like it should be
Or truck, 7-truck pilot.
This is all broadcast here, so people can actually hear.
Wow, look at
what I'm
that.
saying to you right
Yeah.
now. My mic's live on.
You never know,
I don't know
Talladega. You
why
never
my
know.
mic is live, but it is. It's actually showing up live for some reason instead of the TeamSpeak audio. It's showing up as live mic audio, and I'm really confused as to why. I'm gonna have to figure out what the fuck changed because some settings changed or something changed.
And our leader will be coming in for some pit stop action, Mr. Everett F. Lane. And everyone follows in line right behind him.
Single file, boys. Jenkins stopping, Douglas stopping.
Going down to the front of pit lane here. We'll watch the guys come out, and I'll turn on the pit results. And looks like Douglas Johnson of the 388 took more than 20 seconds. Looks like something's going on with his truck. That's going to be bad news for him if he doesn't get back out there.
Wonder if he went over his box and had to back up. Maybe he lost a can of fuel.
And looks like he's still in the pits. Not sure what's going on. Maybe he had to go take a leak real quick.
Could have. Hopefully not a number 2. You know, that's what you'll notice. Real race car drivers do that before the race. In sim racing, sometimes, well...
Well, especially at Talladega, you got a couple minutes before the cars get back around the track again. So it looks like the Hornet himself decided to come up and play with the front runners. Maybe he's trying to get his lap back. And we got Jay Anderson, Rick McKinney, and Everett Fastlane. Looks like the duo of Gary Jenkins and Maurice Johnson went back to 6th and 8th place. The Rich Cracker guy, the number 37, Rick Cadote, is still up there. Everett Fastlane stays in 4th. And Mr. Michael Pegg, the limo man, has moved up to 5th place. Looks like he decided to stop messing around in the back and come up and race with the big boys.
Now, I don't know Everett Fastlane very well. Obviously, his iRating is much, much higher than mine in Oval. But how did his parents know to have his middle name be Fast? How did they know he was going to be a race car driver?
Some say he was born with a racing wheel in his hands. I don't know how that happens.
His poor mother. His poor, poor mother.
Number 24, folks, Everett Fastlane.
And that had to hurt coming out.
Here's a look at our sponsor today, Mr. Michael Pegg of Georgia Limousine, www.galimo.net. Georgia Limousine services the greater Atlanta, Georgia area. He has a very nice fleet of super stretch limousines he likes to show off and show me all the time when he's waxing them and cleaning them right before he jumps in and races with me. Michael Pegg, good guy, been racing with us for a while now. Started out as a rookie. Very impressive watching him learn and take notes from some of the better drivers and get out there and have a little fun. What they say, blow your hair back, have a little fun.
Now, my question is, Jay Anderson in that number 18 car, starting off a pole, old tires, low fuel. He didn't pit. So I wonder how many laps he's going to go. Is he just trying to lead the race a few laps? Do you get points for leading?
In my normal race series, you get a point for leading a lap, but in this one, it's basically you got to cross the checker at the end to get in the pool for the prizes.
So just leading's not going to help.
It's showing he's a lap down. I think he's trying to get the wave by at 2 to go to get his lap back.
Gotcha. That makes sense then. Wounded Warrior paint. Gary Jenkins, is Gary Jenkins running the Wounded? Is he the one running the Wounded Warrior paint?
He sure is.
Okay.
His number's 35. Usually he's like number 9, I believe. Someone else must have came in the room with number 9 before him and got his number.
It looks like Brad L. Bothwell got the number 9 tonight.
Good old Brad. Well, speaking of Brad, let's pull him down to the channel and have a chat, see how he's doing. Well, hey, Brad, how you doing? We decided to bring you down to the broadcast tower and see how you're doing. How's the race going for you?
It's going good. I mean, I've been just trying to stay out of trouble. A couple close calls with the line that goes straight through, but just trying to stay out of trouble. You know how it is in our league races, same thing.
I hear that. So who's your racing partner out there? Who can we expect for you to link up with and go for the money?
Well, at first it was my buddy Jeremy. And I went to try and get back. Now I'm sitting down here with Michael and them. Hopefully at the end of the race, I'll work with one of them. So that's my game plan. We're all in lead together, so might as well work together.
That's a nice light blue Napa paint, is what Michelle said to let you know.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love this paint scheme.
Sharp, very sharp.
Brad. Looks like we're about to go to the green, and good luck to you, and like to see you race out there, buddy.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good night.
Well, hopefully Brad's got some Napa know-how, because he's going to have to be coming back from the 18th position on this restart.
I suspect he does. Knowing Brad, he's waiting until like the last 20 laps or so of the race to make his move. Probably trying to keep his quick repair so he has a solid truck to go for the money at the end.
It's probably a smart move. I mean, it's a long race.
Green flag.
It's like Jay and Effort are pulling off in that low lane, using it to their advantage.
Looks like Gary and Reese are still hooked up together, and they're pushing old Jay Anderson down there on the low lane.
those old tires he's on. I mean, Talladega, they come into play, but they don't come into play as much on some of the shorter tracks than you would think on a track of this scale.
That's a good point, Tim. That's absolutely correct. It is fixed setup. Everybody has the same setup, but it's a custom fixed setup. It's one that I created that is very good on the tire. 60 or 70 laps before you really need to change your tires. Those guys alternate between the left tires and the right tires in the pits, so they never really wear out enough to where it affects the car in the draft here. It's all about drafting. It's all about having a fully functional, clean car to make the run for the money at the end of the race. And that's why you see, like right now, a lot of the guys just kind of taking it easy, giving each other plenty of room, making sure that the internet's cooperating, no net code or nothing funny like that's happening. And you're just trying to go for that green flag pit stop. And that's when the races really start to unwind and come apart. Guys get together and make the run for the front.
Well, those top 10 are pushing it 2 lanes, 5 cars filed in, 2 lanes wide, so seem to be keeping good time with each other. A lot of moving it. What was that?
You'll have to see if the 603 can just send it, as his car says.
It's just gonna send it.
98 pitting this time.
Hey, can you grab me a pack of smokes when you come back? Thanks, babe. Looks like Rick McKinney's really fighting out there on that high line to try to get by the 24 of Everett. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen because the 18 of Jay Anderson is just really pushing him hard. A lot of bumping and rubbing on that straight.
Ooh. Rick really came down, hugging him really tight, hugging Gary and Maurice really tight down in that bottom lane. Looks like he's trying to get the number 18 of Jay Anderson out there in the front.
Check. Thanks, baby.
And looks like he's going to pull it off. Jay Anderson was able to get out there in the front. He's being pushed by Everett Lane.
Well, he's going to have to pit before the rest of the field because he didn't take a pit stop last time around. And what was that, lap 44, 48? He didn't stop.
That's correct, Tim. I think he's banking on maybe another caution coming out. That way he can get field position and stay out in front.
I wonder if the 32 car of Dan Janjanin has a sister named Jan. Then it'd be Jan Janjanin.
That's funny. Jan Janjanin.
Yeah, I've been racing with Dan.
saved it there.
Yeah, Dan's currently running in 16th place in the second pack there. One of his sisters maybe riding in the passenger seat with him, Janet.
They could be kissing cousins. With a name like that, they probably are. I'm just kidding, Dan.
Yeah. He's gonna listen to this stream and be like, you guys.
I hope they might just say, oh, they're on to us. How did they know?
How do they know I had a sister named Janin? Fastlane's still looking good in that 24 car, that's for sure.
Well, we're going back here to jump in his truck and watch him as he's in the pack there, having a little fun. Looks like he has the number 6 of Mike Costa in front of him, followed by the Hornet. A fun fact, last season David Addison came in second place in our race league and won himself a fancy little trophy. I think his wife is more proud of it than he was. Even posted a picture of it on a Facebook. Old David refuses to get with the 21st century and join Facebook, but thankfully his wife did it for us.
He's currently running 26th in the number 7 car. It's got a nice, kind of a nice green and black paint scheme to it.
Back here in the back, you got a lot of the old farts. I suspect they might be all collected together back here. You're trying to stay out of the championship. Just trying to run down the laps here to the end so they can make a run for it. Them sly old dogs are always got some kind of trick up their sleeve.
At Talladega, with this many laps to go, it could be anybody.
So we're looking at Maurice Johnson. It's a fun story about him. He was holding a recruitment race way back in the day, and I just happened to get lucky and join it. He was teaching everyone how to run here at Talladega and Daytona, the super speedways, and he said, "Hey, I'm recruiting. We don't care if you're a new driver or not." Back then, I had a rookie license with like a 800 I rating. I was terrible, and I was almost ready to quit iRacing. Good drivers like Maurice Johnson is what kept me around. You know, he introduced me to a lot of these old other fellers who are good, clean drivers. They like to get out here and drive fast and have fun, and he taught me a lot, kept me around, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Maurice Johnson and all the respect I have for him for everything he done for me in the past. He's a mentor of mine, that old fella, Maurice, Kentucky native and also an Army veteran.
He's a Kentucky native, our Cincinnati neighbor to the south.
Yep, he sure is. He always asked him, how's he hanging? And he said, hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
Finest frog hair, twice as dandy or something like that.
Yeah, good old Maurice.
Reckon.
Yellow flag is out.
Where was the wreck at?
The wreck is in the second pack, I guess, number 69.
Oh, I got it.
Rodney hit the wall and came down into Rod Ronan's.
Okay, going back and looking at it here. We got Rodney German in 69. Not sure what happened there.
the 42 was involved too of Romney Senior.
One second, Britt. I'll be right back, fellas. You can let me talk to Britt.
They also came down into the number 6, Mike Costa.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm not sure what happened with Rodney's truck there, but it looks like maybe equipment failure. I mean, that does happen every now and then. People's steering wheels and things go out.
I've had my screens go dark on me in just 5 seconds, praying to God you're coming out of a turn into the straightaway.
All right, we're back live here. Not sure
Yeah,
what
he went from the middle lane up into the wall.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. I hope it's just something simple like, his steering wheel stopped working or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he just made almost a right turn into the wall. It looked like equipment failure.
The worst is when you're down to 3 laps to go, you're in the lead, and your cat jumps on your lap.
Yeah, that would be bad. It shows Rodney German throughput fell to unacceptable level, so he lost his internet.
What part of the country is he in? I know we're having a snowstorm here in Ohio today. A lot of rain throughout the rest of the country.
I'm not broadcasting my voice anymore. I'll be right back. I'm going to go see what Brent wanted.
Rodney German, his profile says Dothan, Alabama.
Alabama. How's the weather in Alabama?
So he'll be getting all rain there.
Yeah. It looks like Everett's going to restart in the pole position here. Is Jay Anderson still on the track, or did he go to pits?
He is still on the track, I do believe.
It's the man of never-ending fuel. Well, he didn't pit at lap 44, so he's probably, maybe he pitted under an earlier caution instead of staying out, and it seems to be playing into his favor.
Yeah, showing he's in position 2.
Same here. Maybe he's coming in this time around. Nope, not looking like it.
All right, guys, I'm back. Going live. All right, back live here. Had to go try to figure out what was going on. Looks like we had a person with equipment failure, and they decided to let me know, and he's now gone from the race. So hopefully we can get back to green racing here, and the rest of the race will go green. I'd like to see some green flag pit stops, and some of the teams who usually get together jump out there and make a run for it. We seem to get some a rash of bad luck, but I suspect that is the last one. We should definitely see some green flags here.
See, when he has equipment failure like that, he could probably really use that $100 to buy a new wheel.
Let's grab the limo man and bring him down to the channel. Mr. Limo Man, the Michael Pegg. How you doing today, bud?
How you doing, Esther?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a rash of bad luck. We've had a lot more cautions than we normally have today, but I see you've been up there in the front just sticking it out, racing clean. I don't know if you're listening to the live broadcast or not, but Rodney German looked like he had some equipment failure or something, and the guys in the other channel will let me know he was bumping people and caused a couple accidents, and I suspect his equipment just wasn't working right. That last wreck, he just kind of ran into the wall and came down and took out a bunch of drivers. But so what's your plan? Who's your racing partners today?
Right now, anybody that's close to me. Doug's had some bad luck, but he's hanging in there.
I'm on by, Mike.
Doug Johnson.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, we've been bragging about you, how you started racing with us, and you were a greenhorn and really didn't know what you were doing, but how patient you were, and you took a lot of notes from the better drivers, and you keep sending me text messages of all your first place wins, man. I'm really proud of you, doing really good, and damn glad to have you around, and thanks again for putting on this limousine Talladega 500 today. It's been pretty fun.
Well, I appreciate it. Using your pit strategy, that's why I'm sitting where I'm sitting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can thank Maurice Johnson for that and Gary Jenkins, because they're the ones that taught me how to do super speedways, that's for sure. All right, brother. Well, I'll put you back up there in your room, and good luck to you, and hope you bring home some cheddar today.
Appreciate it.
Esther, we had a lot of people apparently involved in that accident because quite a few disconnects. We had Thomas Haley, Rodimus Sr. disconnected. So did Rachel Hunt.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm showing 34 trucks now left. Or 30 trucks.
So maybe they reached their fast repair limit and had too much damage to continue.
Very true. Many a times those engines blow and don't have a fast repair, and 32, 35 minutes of repair is just, you know, sometimes it's worth sticking around, but when the money's on the line like tonight, some people just don't feel like it's, you know, worth competing. You just being in the slow lane and slowing up other guys.
And once your truck is damaged, it never is the same, even with the fast repair, it seems.
Michelle was right. Just doesn't seem the same, it seems like. Especially here at the super speedways. I mean, it's really tough. If you don't have partners to work with, it's almost nothing you can really do alone. However, even if you have a damaged truck, if you can get a couple buddies and they put you in the middle, you guys can still make a move on the outside for at least one of the top 7 spots and get a payday.
Say it. Say it. Say I'd like to be the meat in the middle.
So we're showing 28 trucks on the lead lap and 2 trucks 1 lap down and 2 more trucks 2 laps down right now. Still in the race as we come around to the green flag. Everybody has to go whenever Everett decides to go. It looks like he's gonna go when it goes green. Green. And he's off. Jumped it just a little bit.
I'm still trying to figure out when Jay Anderson's going to pit for fuel. He's got to be getting low.
So today we've had 66 laps completed, 21 lead changes. Not even halfway there, folks. I don't think we can, might run out of bills from electricity before the race is over. Have no more cautions.
Imagine the fuel bill. Takes a couple cans of those Sunoco fuel to fuel these trucks, and it can get quite expensive with this many laps.
Shout out to my wife, Mrs. Fields. No relation to Mrs. Fields' cookies, but she brought me a pretty stout Jack and Coke as I sit here and drink and watch this awesome racing. Hanging out with you nice fellas. And nice young lady, too.
I can see why you married her, Estelle.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And we got another caution coming out.
Not sure where that one happened.
I didn't see it.
Going to the blimp. See if we can find it. I got it. It's the number 23 came down into the number 6 of Mike Costa. Or Mike Costa on the other hand came up and hit the number 23. And those two slid out onto the track and brought out the caution. Andrew Malata has a D license and a 749i rating. Unfortunate for him. To be such a low rating driver, he's actually been racing really clean, and it's unlike Mikey Costa to come up high and take the poor fellow out like that. Very unfortunate, but that's what they say. Even the best of us make mistakes here at Talladega, and we're back under caution again.
Well, Costa doesn't look like he's really got a whole lot of damage. That 23 car of Andrew Malata looks like he's got some wing damage on the back, but I will tell you that Costa, I will give a shout out to that Hooters paint he's got. I actually had some steamed shrimp from Hooters earlier today. Very good.
Yeah, that's why I go to Hooters for the chicken wings and a shrimp.
That's where I was at tonight. Hooters. It looked like 33. Rick Kenny dodged that wreck a little bit there.
See, I go to Hooters for the food. My wife goes for the orange shorts.
Ooh.
No.
Hey. My ex-wife used to like the Hooters girls.
Were you ever a Hooters girl, honey?
No.
Did you ever any desire to be a Hooters girl?
No.
There was one guy that was, wasn't there?
I tried to be a Hooters girl. They wouldn't let me. I didn't have the required equipment.
That's unfortunate.
Who was that? Somebody had a lawsuit with him. A guy that wanted to be a Hooters girl. Or
that's like a guy just. Yeah, that's just. I'm sorry. That just something not right about that. As a judge, I'd have to throw that one right out of court.
Me too.
So does he wear like a halter top, or does he have to wear the bikini thing too? Because that would be kind of weird.
I don't know whatever came of it. I don't even know if it's true.
I remember them giving away a Toyota at a Hooters concert, or at a Hooters restaurant for the top waitress of the year. And I remember this one girl really worked and worked and worked it, and worked it some more. And then when she won the Toyota, she was a little upset that she got a little green guy from Star Wars.
Oh.
Ha ha ha.
She won a Toyota.
So I hope they don't ruin NASCAR like they did Formula One, bringing electric into the sport.
The Formula E's. Yeah, they're trying to do that with the Rallycross too. They're trying to go all electric, and I just think the sound of the engines, the change in the gears, it's gonna ruin the sport really well, unfortunately.
Well, recently for all the race fans out there, the Pikes Peak Challenge it was an electric car that just took the world record. And watching that thing zoom around Pikes Peak was pretty impressive. But like you said, the sound is kind of weird to get used to. It's making that whining. But man, is that thing fast! It goes like 0 to 100 miles an hour in like a second. So it's pretty wild. If any race fans want to check it out, YouTube the electric car Pikes Peak world record. It's
Yeah,
out there.
Pikes
It's
Peak.
pretty impressive. That's for
Pikes
sure.
Peak. You know, it wouldn't be the same because about 4 years ago at a NASCAR race, I came out with tinnitus, and you know, with electric cars, you're never going to get tinnitus.
And you gotta have the smell of the race fuel.
That's true. This wouldn't be the same. Maybe if they do it like they do some of the where they have an augmented electric engine but still have the primary combustion engine as the main propulsion system.
Like a Prius.
Exactly, like a Prius.
No, not a Prius. I'd rather you have said my radio-controlled car that goes rum 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 as I drive it around. I told some of the guys once on Rallycross that I was going to buy a Prius, and they don't talk to me anymore. Of course, I did buy a Honda Civic Type R instead, so I think I redeemed myself on that.
Did you have a loud muffler and a big wing in the back?
You know, that would be kind of nice. Make a Prius look like a rally car? Wouldn't that be funny? Make it look like Cabot Bingham's car or something?
Well, there's always people trying to be different out there. I'm sure there's like a 900 horsepower Prius that does a quarter mile in like 8 seconds somewhere.
It's like, what do you drive? A Prius? Oh, I drive a Porsche. I'll take you.
Want to race for pink slips? Well, it looks like Jay Anderson, the pit strategy paid off, as he's still out there in the front in the lead right now. And Everett Fastlane on the inside. Maurice Johnson, no surprise. And Gary Jenkins, that rounds out, and Rodney Smith, sorry, can't forget about him in number 96. But there's your top 5. Seems to be the same trucks up there in the front. Not very many Challengers right now, but plenty of racing left. We're not even halfway, folks. We're not even halfway. Do what you got to do. Get your head in the game. For those of the guys out there that are racing good, racing clean, thank you. Those of you who are making the bonehead mistakes, it's time to knock it off and wrap it up. We want to see some green flag pit stops.
Looks like Corey Cook in that number 61 car has actually moved up to 8th position, too. He's moving along pretty well.
Corey Cook started in 39th today and has worked his way all the way up to 7th place. It's a very good job. Corey Cook comes over from the Crow's Nest joining us today. We have 5 different leagues: Race Fanatics, Johnson Racing, Hannah Racing, Old Fart Sim Racing, and the Crow's Nest is the 5 leagues racing here today.
Yeah, to start 39th and move up to 8th, and you're not even halfway through the race, what's he going to do with the other half?
He's going to lap the field.
Probably not, but I bet you hope so for that $100.
And you know, the money really isn't that important. We like to just throw that in there as a friendly little extra something to make it better, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Oh,
Just
he got a full field. Got a full field, and you know.
Tighten up back here, fixing to go.
A lot of times, Michelle and I will run the Ohio IndyCar League, and that's a money on the line series. When you come out first place, like I did at Miami Homestead a couple of months ago, you know, to come away with some bucks, it's a nice perk to a sim race that really you're just in here having fun, having a good time, racing with your friends, and to come away with some bucks, it's really a nice feeling.
Green flag, green flag.
And Jason Anderson has started the race. We're back green flag again. Behind him is 24th of Everett Lane. We'll be pushing him. On the outside, Maurice Johnson in the 322 being pushed by Rodney Smith in the 96.
Now on that caution, did Jay finally pit for fuel and maybe some tires?
Oh yeah, he's back in the hunt for the money for sure now. He's got a French set of Quasimodos and a full tank of gas and nowhere to go but forward.
Well, he played the strategy right. They're 2 by 2. Everett fast lane still pushing Jay. I mean, he is just on his bumper, pushing him around the track. And I still feel sorry for Everett's mother, though, being born with having to push out a wheel.
David said he has a left foot. I think they even made a song out there. The fast lane.
Life in the Everett fast lane surely make you lose your mind.
We got the limo man still hanging on and just cruising.
I think Michael Pigg's just kind of buying his time there in the 10th position in that 777 car.
There's no doubt about that, Tim. I'm sure that when it comes down to the wire, we'll see him up there pushing hard, making a run for it.
82 of Paul Fletcher, moving all the way up from 17th into 8th. Thomas Holder just edging in front of him in that 00.
The Cracker Man, Mr. Ritt, has moved back to 12th. I guess he stuck in traffic there. Way back up to the front right now.
Say, he had a little too much cheese.
Maybe it was the wine in his cheese that he had too much of. We got Brad Bothwell claims he quit drinking. I'll BS on that, but he's holding steady there in 12th place in the back of the main pack, just cruising along. And I wouldn't be a gentleman if I didn't mention the Funk Master. Out here racing with us today, number 97. He started 32nd, moved his ways up to 14th. Also in the main pack, just chilling there, plenty of room between the car in front of him and the car behind him. Just cruising along on the inside lane, trying to count down the laps, preferably to be pit under green. Really starts to unfold as guys get hooked up with one another and make a run for the front.
Dan Junanen right behind the Funk Master, Jeremy Funk. He's got the funk.
And it looks like we got the second pack favorite Canadian friend, and being pushed by none other than Old Blue, Mr. LG Logan himself in the 99 truck.
Keeping kind of an eye on that second pack. That 808 car of Robert Bears has actually come up from the starting spot of 34th all the way into the 13th position. He's making a run for it, along with Rid. Actually started at 30th, so he's still not count him out of it. I mean, he still came up from 11th. Now he had a higher position. Had to take maybe a longer pit, maybe missed a stop, but he's running right up there.
Take a look at Robert Bears' truck here, 808. Looks like he's got a good paint scheme. Usually he runs a basement Bob paint scheme. Looking pretty sharp. Robert Bears been around racing and iRacing for a very long time. He's rocking an A license with a 4.24 safety rating out of possible 499. It was really good. And he has 3,348 I rating. Robert Bears joining us today at the Georgia Limousine Talladega 500. Good to have old Bob with us.
Michelle mentioned earlier Peter Bailey in that 603 car says he's just gonna send it right on his visor, and he's a schwacker on the back. Don't exactly know what a schwacker is. What's a schwacker?
Bushwhacker and a fly swatter.
A swacker? A swahacker. A swahacker.
A slacker and a swatter.
Maybe a sweater hacker? A sweet hacker? I don't know. I give up. We should pull him down and ask. Maybe on the next caution.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't join us here in TeamSpeak today.
Ah, that's too bad. Too bad. What about that 61 car of Corey Cook, though? Very impressed with the driving. From 39th now all the way up to 6th?
4th place. Well, you know, the spots change 2 or 3 positions depending on if you're on the inside or outside. Sometimes the outside to get a run, there'll be 2 or 3 trucks in front of you, and then the inside to get a run, there'll be 2 or 3 trucks in front of them.
Impressive. He is on the move into 2nd.
Well, we got 20 laps on this stint. We should be seeing some pit stops after about 20 more laps.
The 18 car of Jay Anderson starting to blink a little bit. Let's hope he doesn't fall off. He's had such a great night. Dan Junhanen, we were just talking about him. Throughput fell to an unacceptable level. He's out.
Oh no, and there he goes. He's out of it.
Lots of storms throughout the United States tonight. So, lots of storms.
Yeah, I'm down here in New Mexico. It's 55 degrees today, and I played 18 holes of golf.
Speaking of golf, Michelle and I went to Top Golf for the first time at a Top Golf here in Cincinnati, and she actually hit the ball 88 yards. I was pretty impressed with that swing of hers.
for my first time.
That's pretty good, actually.
It was a 14-yard drive and a 70-yard roll.
Sounds like when I play.
Sounds like when a lot of us play, unfortunately. That's just the way golf is. Either you got it or you don't.
Well, it looks like
kind of like this
the
drive.
2 packs there. Holding strong.
That second pack's only 3 seconds behind the lead pack.
Yeah, I suspect they're just taking it easy. You'll
Just
see
trying
a
to
lot
stay out
of
of
those guys
trouble.
in that second pack will all hit together and reconnect. Should this thing stay green.
I'm sure too, when this many leagues come together, you have a lot of the same people running the certain leagues with each other that want to stay together, and even though they're battling out in their own league with one another, once they bring it here, they're almost a team of drivers together, aren't they?
That's right. Like the old farts are all over in their team speak, racing and chatting together. There's about 9 of them, and I suspect if they're able to pull away from everyone else using a pit strategy, I mean, the top 7 pay out.
Hey, baby,
so
baby.
7 of them all together, they all get paid
You
out.
iced tea.
It really doesn't matter who comes in first. I'm sure they'll all be happy as 2 fat kids in a candy store if they're able to pull it off today. We got new session fastest lap time. Looks like Robert Bearson, 808, just pulled a 48.930 lap time here in Talladega. He just went 2.66 miles in 48 seconds. They're hitting about 195 miles per hour on the back stretch and the front stretch. Moving along here in these trucks, really pushing them to the limit. And it's amazing being racing that close together with the internet. People all over the United States, Canada, even some in Europe. Today's technology can hold something like that, and we can come out here and race together and have the fun that we're having. Hats off to iRacing and our internet service providers to bring us all together here. Have such fun.
It's just amazing they can put together servers that through the entire United States, everybody's pinging 100 or less. Just amazing to look back at racing online and how far it's come to when I was racing online years and years ago, if you had a 400 ping, you were fast. But then again, that was a 300 baud modem, and high-speed internet has changed a lot of that.
You had the dual shotgun 48.k kilobits per second dial-up modem back in the day, and you were hot stuff.
Absolutely. You thought it couldn't get any faster.
Yes, I love technology, that's for sure. Looks like we are taking lap 26. We now officially have the longest green flag run of the race so far today. Lap 89 of 188. We're almost halfway there, folks. Within the next 10 laps, we should start seeing guys jump into the pits together and try to make a run for the front of the pit stop. Looks like Maurice Johnson just pulled off to the top lane for some reason, hooking up with his partner Gary Jenkins. And we're now 3 wide. We're going to go down a little closer to the action here with the cameras. And those looking at home, is the trick to super speedways here is those guys on the inside lane, that first lane close to that yellow line, they need to stay as close to that yellow as they can without crossing over so they don't spin out. And they don't want to come up to that first white line because the middle lane, they got the guys in the middle lane here. They want to stay as close to that first white dot line as they can, but don't go below so they can get the guys on the inside. And then the guys in the middle lane have the roughest time because they get the guys on the outside that they have no wiggle room almost none at all, especially in them turns as they go 3 wide here at Talladega. We got 4 on top, 3 in the middle, and 4 on the bottom as the rest move in rushed up here as everyone makes the move for the front.
I always used to call that yellow apron the banana on Talladega because when you hit it going into that backstretch on turn 3, you could spin your car so far wide you'll knock it right up into the wall. It's like hitting a banana peel.
I know I've done it a time or two, that's for sure.
It looks like Dan Janet did reconnect. He's going to be quite a few laps down, considering. Unfortunate for his race tonight.
Yep, we started with 43 drivers. Currently have 30 remaining here at Talladega Super Speedway. Still have 2 main packs here. It's going to be really interesting as we come in for some pit stops, how it's all going to pan out. Coming to lap 30 now of this stint. And I suspect most guys will go with 2 tires and a full load of gas.
We've just got 1 to go to the halfway.
So I'm showing the second pack is now 4.7 seconds back. They were free for a long time. Looks like they've lost a little steam there for whatever reason. If they get too far back, everyone in that pack will have a hard time catching up to the front when it comes down to the end.
Yeah, Robert Beers actually dropped down in front of the 96 of Rodney Smith instead of being in that middle, which turned out to now be the high lane because they're just too wide. Dropped down to take the top spot in the lower lane. Felt like it was maybe faster.
As long as you got a good pusher that can manage the his truck there, doesn't overheat his truck. The fastest lane, and usually the person who wins is on that inside lane there.
Absolutely.
Make your pass on the outside. And that is the golden ticket, is that inside lane. Oh, we had a little wiggle. Good save.
Yeah, wiggle looked like it was from Paul Fletcher in the 82, that Busch Light car. Or actually the mobile car. Busch Light on the front, mobile on the back.
And
Kevin Harvick
Johnson
fan,
just
maybe.
came down to take the front. Wow. A lot of lead changes here. And the pole center itself, Gary Jenkins is being pushed by Maurice, and now 1 and 2 up there on the inside lane in the front in this front pack.
Gary Jenkins trying to fight his way back too.
And we got Robert Bears has went back up with Everett Fastlane, puts him on the outside. It looks like he's going to try and make a run to get that front spot again up, and we got some pit action going.
Oh, 82 sliding out. Oh, the 82 of Paul Fletcher. Looks like he just lost control, sliding into the pit. Hit another car. I'm not sure exactly who he hit. I think it might have been the 00 involved.
Wow.
Thomas Holder. I think Rodney Smith. Was Rodney Smith involved in that as well?
Let's go back and take a look.
That's unfortunate. You've got to just...
All right, I'm back here. Thomas Holder in the second pack. 00. He's coming in the pit here. And it looks like the accident happened behind him. happened there? Paul Fletcher of the 82 got rear-ended by Cracker Man and was sent for a ride down pit lane and took out a couple other trucks, as you can see. Good on him keeping it down below that yellow though, so the caution didn't come out, but very unfortunate for Paul. Being on old tires like that rear-ended, there's no way he can hang on to it.
That puts the 33 of Rick McKinney actually in the #1 spot right now with Michael Pegg behind him.
We'll see how it all pans out. Once everyone gets back out there on that lead lap, they get their drafting buddies who can pull the faster times to get out in front of everyone else. Right now, it's Brad Bothwell leading with Mr. Michael Pegg pushing him, followed closely by Rick McKinney and Peter Bailey.
And Peter Bailey just filing back in line. He was trying to take the outside line for a second, but realized he wasn't going nowhere fast by himself out there.
Rodney Smith, as you can see on the screen here, went high to let the leaders by. That's one of the things we normally do. If you're a lap down or you're slower, you go high and let the faster trucks who got the run or on the lead lap come by you.
Just common courtesy. I'm pretty used to that. Usually about lap 3, I get wrecked out. Rest of the time, I'm just high, 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 like a Talking Head song.
Like Thomas Holder and Douglas Johnson went in for their pit stop. You got Brad Bothwell still in first, coming around. He's got some slower traffic to contend with. But that slower traffic is Maurice Johnson. He's on the lead lap. He does not have to yield because he's on the lead lap. Brad Bothwell in first. He's coming in with Michael Pegg for their pit stop now. If they can make it in and out quick enough, they might be able to catch back out with the main pack.
So that should leave, what, the 33 of McKinney back in the lead with, is that LJ Whaley?
That's
right behind him?
LG Whaley, Mike Costick,
98 pitting this time.
All top 10 guys are all old farts. And that's the way you do it, folks. They were back behind everyone else, but due to their pit strategy, came out ahead.
You gotta learn to slow down entering the pits, and you gotta hit your pit box, because if you miss one time, it can cost you big time. Cost you 10 spots.
And there they go. The old farts all in unison. You see them all coming in on pit lane right now.
Should be interesting to see how this goes.
And they're too wide down pit lane. That's tough to see your pit stop when we all do that, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job. They're coming in for their tires. We're going to the front of the pit lane, as you can see on the camera. The pole setter, Mr. Hornet, David Adamson, is coming in to get his tires and some fuel. Looks like he's taking lefts. LG's got his 2 lefts. They're still fueling. Rick McKinney's coming out first, followed by David. LG's going, Craig White. They're all coming out together, all in a pack. Look like it's going to be pretty interesting to watch for sure. And then there's that first group, Michael Pegg. Just passed by, as you can see, on the outside of the old farts pack there. And right now, Robert Bears is in second place in the head pack. There's 6 trucks. They are 2x2 or 3x3, that's what you want to do if you want to maintain the top speed. It's going to be interesting to see how the big old farts pack. As you can see, there's the old farts pack coming around from the blimp view. They're trying to all get together here. Hot on their tail is the third pack, trying to make the run to catch up as well. They're all jockeying for position, seeing who's going to push who.
Old farts have caught him, unless the 34.
Yeah, it looks like the old farts are going to go.
Yeah. That's Darren Reeser. Darren Reeser's even caught him. So they're going to stick together. They're not going to. Nobody's going to lose the pack.
Yeah, they're going to go 4x5 for a total of 9 trucks. Very smart. They should be able to gain some ground and possibly catch up to that front pack of trucks. There's only 6 of them up there, 3x3. Right now, 6 behind the lead pack. We'll see as it unfolds if they can catch up to them or not. Going back up to the front here, lead pack. They are 3x3. Everett Fast Lane on the outside, Michael Pegg on the inside, Mr. Limo Man. You got Robert Paris being the pusher for the outside truck. And Brad Bothwell on the inside. The Funk Man, Jeremy Funk out of nowhere has joined that 6-pack of trucks up there in the lead. Pretty impressive, and cannot forget Mr. Douglas R. Johnson in the 388 holding the 5th spot. And that's your top 6 trucks right now here at the Talladega 500, sponsored by Georgia. And going back here to Rick McKinney, who's leading that second pack with the old farts. Looks like the other pack is catching them as well. They are now 5.8 seconds behind, so they gained about 0.2 of a second on that lead pack. I suspect all the trucks are going to make their push and catch them eventually. It's just a matter of a few more laps.
I'm noticing a trend here that those that started later on the grid are now leading the race. The only person we really have that started in the top, 10 are Everett Fastlane and Brad Bothwell, who started 7th and 10th, running 2nd and 3rd. The rest are all back 18th to the 32nd, 34th on the grid, now running in the top 10, top 6, top 7.
Yeah, I don't have the skill or ability to go back and look at what happened to Maurice Johnson or Gary Jenkins, but they're already back in 2025, and they were all race leaders for so long now. Must have had some that wreck that where everybody slid to the pit stops. Looked like it broke them up, their bunch up pretty bad, and they're suffering for it right now. They got a lot of work to do to get back up there to the front.
Quite a few in that second pack from Rick McKinney, Craig White, Al Cena. You got Brent Lee, David Adamson, Darren Reeser, Thomas Ackridge, Peter Bailey started 3rd. David Adamson, our leader in that second pack, now running 12th. Had the pole.
You got Jeremy Funk, who just joined that 6-pack up there, and they now have 7 trucks. I don't know if it's going to be enough to help them, but the pack with Rick McKinney, LG, the old farts pack there, they gained another 4 seconds, down to 5.2 behind the leaders. They started at about 6.1 once we started tracking. Looks like we're running them down, reeling them in little by little. It's like going fishing, folks, here at the Super Speedway. You got to reel it in little by little and have some patience and work with the partners.
It all winds down. I mean, each lap just a couple of tenths can mean the difference between a race win and a 10th place finish here at Talladega.
Couldn't agree more, Tim. And I'm telling you from experience, more times than not, if you lose one of those packs or you lose that draft, it's almost no hope. Usually 5 or 10 laps, all passing you again, you go a lap down, and it's really hard to recover from something like that.
Absolutely, I completely agree. That number 18 car of Jay Anderson's trying to take the top line when he really needs to fall back into place just to catch that draft. I feel like him and that 322 car, Maurice, are now 17th and 18th position.
Yeah, if they could go 3 wide, they can really push the second pack along, and they'll catch the front runners in a short amount of time.
just working that side draft to try to really gain some momentum too.
And unfortunately for that front pack there, you have Douglas Johnson, Robert Bears, and Jeremy Funk. They're on lap 12. Michael Pegg are only on lap 9, so their pit strategy might be differently. They'll have to break up the pack. And in a long run, that will definitely help them. That will definitely hurt them more than it will help them, for sure. The goal is the bigger your pack, and the more people pit with you, the greater opportunity is the more you come out together and you can maintain that top speed and pull away from everyone.
And the leaders are coming around the tri-oval right now. 79 to go this time around.
And that second pack being led by LG Welly and Rick McKinney right now, 4.7 seconds behind that front pack.
They are reeling them in.
Reeling them in, yes, sir. They got some good bait, and they got them hooked, and they're reeling them in.
Well, that lead pack's only got 6 cars. I mean, you got 6, 7 cars in that lead pack. Actually, just 6 cars in that lead pack, and then you're looking at, 14 cars in that second pack.
Yep, they might have the lead right now, but Las Vegas, the odds would be in the favor of that second pack. But then again, this is Talladega. It all comes down to who your draft partners are. How well can they hold the line, and how well can they push? Do you work well together? And most importantly, can you get in and out of the pits quickly and back out there and draft speed? And as you can see with Maurice Johnson and Gary Jenkins, who went from first to second all the way back to 23rd, they got caught up in a debacle there in pit stops, and it cost them dearly.
There actually is a third pack of just 3 cars, about 17 seconds back now, of Douglas Duchette, Jimbo Lacerdo, I do believe, and looks like maybe Corey Cook. But I'm not sure if 3 cars is gonna put him in the running here, being that far back at Talladega. 17 seconds is like a lifetime away.
It would be Paul Witt, Jimbo, and Douglas are all working together. Paul Witt's a couple laps down. That's why it's really not showing him on the ticker. But he is being a gentleman and a scholar and trying to help his buddies out. And that's another thing to consider here at Talladega. Even if something happens to you and you're not going to be in the front, you can get back out there a couple laps down and push your buddy to victory lane for sure. So every truck is a piece still on it. Anything can happen. It all comes down to who your partner is, how much you trust them, and how well you work together here at Talladega.
Plus, I mean, we could have a big wreck and, take out the lead pack, even maybe possibly take out some of the second pack, and somebody even in the 16th or 15th position to come up and win the race. Just depends on how it goes. It's really anybody's race. But Everett Fastlane has been looking good all race, from literally start to finish. He has been commanding.
I guess you could say he didn't earn that iRating by being a squirrel, for sure. So take a look at this second pack with the old farce being led by Rick McKinney and Al Cena right now. They're hitting 197 miles per hour on that backstretch as they're sniffing the draft off of that front pack, and they're quickly closing in. They're 1.3 seconds behind right now. It's next lap they're going to all be bunched up together again. 2, maybe even 3 wide racing as we hit lap 17 of this green flag pit stop stint. We went a total of 68 laps down.
It's just really amazing to think that just 5 laps ago they were 5 seconds down, and in 5 laps, 6 laps, maybe 7 at the most, they're going to catch the lead pack in just a lap here.
I agree, Tim. It's absolutely amazing how Talladega works like that. You know, they call it pack racing for a reason. That's for sure.
Well, with restrictor plate racing, it's all about the draft. It's all about how you draft, and exactly what you said earlier about how you work with the people in front of you and the people behind you. You know, sometimes it pays to be the meat in the middle.
You know, get a couple Wonder Bread truck, hot dog truck, and make the magic happen.
My baloney has a first name.
It's E-V-E-R-E-T-T, Everett. Everett's a good old guy, man. I really enjoy racing around Everett. Especially in the official races. He's so smooth around the track. I really enjoy getting behind and pushing on him. We work well together. He's a really nice guy. You know, Maurice Johnson, all those guys out there in the front. You can definitely tell the way they hold those nice smooth lines. Does not make it as difficult for me when you're, you know, stuck right on their bumper going 198, 200 plus miles an hour sometimes. Talladega here. It matters who you're pushing, that's for sure.
Just to see a 20-car pack on the lead lap at Talladega is simply a sight to behold right now.
Yep. It's pretty cool watching it all unfold. Uh-oh, bring that down below that yellow. Oh, he hanged on to
he's
it.
hanging on, he's hanging on.
David's going to be a gentleman. The Hornet is going to come up and give him a little nudge to try to keep all the fellas with the main pack here on the lead lap. You got a hold of that banana, like Tim likes to say.
Got a huge gap. Yeah, that yellow line is yellow for a reason. It's very slippery, like a banana peel.
I'm gonna go back to Tim. They do work on Mr. McKinney and the drivers around him having situational awareness not to cause another big accident. He got just below that yellow, seeing it caused him to lose control.
Now, do you think anybody out on the track right now could make it on one more fuel stop, or is everyone definitely going to need 2 at this point?
Looks like everyone's going to have to make at least 2 more pit stops. No. They possibly could make it with just 1 more pit stop.
Coming down that backstretch 3 wide.
And what a 3 wide it is. Got another truck below the yellow there. Looks like he was able to hold on to it.
That was
Number
that
82, the Bushman.
Bush stand, yeah, Bush light car there.
Yeah, 10 trucks in the lane, 4 trucks in the high lane, and 7 trucks in the lower lane. They're all a little bit spread out there. Everybody jockeying, moving around for position and trying to get buddies and get up there up front. And I'm not surprised to see LG Willie come around the high side there to take the front. That's what he usually does. The old farts are good at that. Taking that line, and they really like to do it. Oh, we got a wreck here. Got a hold of Rick McKinney of the 33. Let's go back and look at that.
almost looked like to me like he was maybe digging his nose out to try to get some air to that engine and just dug it out a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think he accidentally, Rick McKinney came up a little high. Yeah, I'm looking at the replay again here, watching Brent. Brent's holding his line. Rick McKinney just came way up into his lane and barely tapped his foot to it and down the infield. No caution, but definitely Brent blew his engine and he's going to lump it back in and get it repaired with a quick repair, but he's going to be far, far behind the main pack there. Going back live here, up to the front with and Mr. LG Whaley, old blue, is on the middle lane there, working the high side.
Couple cars look like they're starting to fall off the draft there. It looks like Jeremy Funk, Michael Pegg, and Darren Reeser falling off the pace just a little bit.
Yeah, right now Darren Reeser is 1.7 behind that pack there. No one falls back to help him. He will lose that draft. He will not be able to catch up.
Yeah, Jeremy and Michael have completely lost it. 5-6 seconds back now.
Looks like the Hornet came back to pick up Darren. As you can see, he's slowing down just enough while maintaining his speed to keep the draft of that main pack there, but yet be close enough to let Darren sniff him a little bit to pick up some speed. And it looks like Darren, thankfully to the Hornet, will be able to catch back up to that main draft now and rejoin the guys on the lead pack and the main, on the lead lap with the main pack. And we got a lap down car who should go high.
And it's the Hooters car. Maybe one too many chicken wings. No, he's getting out of the way.
There you go. That's what we like to see in our races here. If you're a slower car and you're lap down, you got to go high, get out of the way.
It's just racing etiquette here at iRacing for anybody who's watching that doesn't have an iRacing account. Check it out. www.iracing.com. It's one of the greatest simulators on the planet.
I tell you, if it ain't just the courtesy and the sportsmanship of the drivers, you can see David Adamson, the number 7, the Hornet. He slowed down to pick up his buddy so that he could catch up to the pack, and then even picked up Mike on the outside there so that he can stay with the pack. He's just being a good sportsman right now, trying to keep his buddies, his friends, and his co-racers with this pack to give him a shot at the win.
Amazing to see Robbie Singleton now started 37th in the 5th position.
Wow. Good job on Robbie. Robbie Singleton's also an A licensed driver with a 3.5 safety rating and a 2,916 iRating. Very respectable. Most drivers are in the 2000s or less iRating. Pros are usually up in the 6,000 plus, and it's really tough to keep it up there with accidents and things that are kind of out of your control. You end up losing 100 or 2 iRacing in a single race because of things that are just not in your control, being wrecked out by somebody else.
I remember doing a week at Talladega, and one time in 5 races, lost 700 iRating in a row.
Looks like Jay Anderson, unfortunately, is back in 20th place, and he's going to go
44-bit
down as the main pack comes around to pass him on the inside, and we got some pit stops happening.
Here we go.
Robert Bears, Maurice Johnson, Kenneth Mikesell, all coming in for their pit stop.
That's temporarily going to put L.J. Whaley and Al Cena in the 1-2 spot with Craig White in third.
And then the strategy here for the folks that don't know, LG Welly, Craig White, all those guys are working together. Right now, they're staying out. They want to push really hard more than ever right now to get as much time in front of the second pack that just pitted as they can. And the strategy for the second pack that just pitted is on their lap out right now is to get connected as quickly as possible, get their speed as fast as possible, so that when the front pack pits, they can swing past them and get pulled in front of them as much as they can. And those are the two strategies for the two main packs that are all working together right there. It's pretty interesting to see as they come in and come out of the pits.
It almost works like a relay race in the Olympics somehow, to where if you've ever watched speed skating in the Olympics, where they come in and out of each other, and you don't really know who's in the lead until they cross the finish line a lot of times.
That's right. Like right now, you got Jimbo and David and those guys out there in the front, and it's up to seven who's actually really in the lead until everyone makes their pit stop. Jimbo blinking a little bit there. Hopefully it clears up. It would be terrible to have him cause an accident now.
Looks like he's pulling into the pits.
Yep, it's time for Jimbo to pit. He's unfortunately all by himself out there.
Sometimes you can get lucky, time it right, and catch the draft of somebody going around, but it's unfortunate if you don't, I'll tell you that.
So we got the old farts pack, the 85 of Al Cena, the 99 of LG Welly, the 44 of Kevin Mike Cell, and the 3 of Craig White. They are 2 by 2, 4 pack, about 2 seconds behind Everett Fastlane, Douglas Johnson, Robert Bears, and Maurice Johnson of that front pack, and it looks like they're going to catch them. Closely behind the second pack, we have Thomas Ackridge, David Addison, and Darren M. Reeser trying to catch up to their old fart pals and make it a super pack, which will probably pull away, unfortunately, from everyone else behind them. If my calculations are correct, Tim, I think they're going to have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, just under 60 to go here. So I would think so too. Somebody's probably praying for a caution here at about 30 laps, I would think.
Surprisingly enough, we have all A licensed drivers here today, except for Rick Cabote, who has a B license, and Andrew Malete, who has a D license. And everyone else is rocking an A license here today who's still in the race. It's pretty impressive. We have a lot of good racers that came to join us today. It's very good to have them all. I love racing with all these old fellas and old gals, and it's even funner watching them races. I see from the blimp and from the tower the pit strategies and the packs and the teamwork and the sportsmanship unravel in front of me here.
I think the 24 of Everett's going to have to file behind. It seems like he's losing time, and that bottom lane is gaining time.
He's in a smarter position. He's got Robert Bears, the 808 pushing. Those two working together is a force to be reckoned with, and it looks like
Yeah.
Maurice lost control for whatever reason. back and look at that.
It looked like he was trying to drop behind it to draft behind the 808 and just lost control. Maybe a little side draft. Wind got him. What are you seeing?
Let's see here. I'm watching the replay now. He goes up and loses control. Looks like his tires gave out. The weight shifted when he came up on the outside. The weight shifted. He turned it a little bit too much and got that rear tire a little too hot and ended up making him spin out. But good on Maurice Johnson for saving it. But man, crash of bad luck, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, you're forced to take two tires. He probably was on the older right side tires and ended up making him lose control there. And a little air push probably.
Oh, the 99 goes into the 24 of Everett. The caution comes out, folks. That is unfortunate.
All right, I'm looking. We're back here looking at the replay. We got Everett on the inside. Oh, Craig White spins the 99 of OG Willie down into Everett fast lane of the 24. And we now are under caution again, folks. And that's going to change things. It's going to allow everyone who was 10 plus seconds, 14 seconds behind to now catch up to the main pack. And we got to start it all over again. That's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed for these guys up here in the front.
Absolutely. And LG usually stands for life is good. And right now it is not good for Mr. Whaley.
Yes, sir. LG is a good old fella. Never really gets mad or takes anything seriously, and always willing to offer advice if you ask, if you're kind enough, and just a good gentleman. Just a good old fella who likes to come out here and show how it's done. But man, tough luck for Everett there to be dominating this race for so long, to be taken out like that. With just a few laps to go, when the top 10 trucks were in it for the money, pretty much. It was theirs to win, and
I mean,
now we have to start all over again.
Would you count him out at this point? I mean, he still looks like he's staying on the track. Hopefully his truck's not damaged, but at this point he's staying on the track. I think he might pit. I mean, I guess he would.
Yeah, I'd be smart for him to pit, to use a repairs. Because any damage at this point would be costly.
Well, at this point, with what do they have? 55 left. That's not going to be enough fuel. They're going to have to either have a caution come out again or take another green flag pit stop.
Yes, sir. We definitely got a lot of racing left to do. Anything could happen between here and there. There's been lots of hosted racings for 55 laps or less, and lots of crazy things happen in that amount of time. That's for sure. Looks like the limo man has called a break. Maurice Johnson and his loose tires. I'm sure he went in and got some new Quasimodos, like he likes to say, some grip to help him out. Now all those guys are now officially competitive as the bunch gets together again, and we get to start it all over.
At this point, I'm sure their pit strategy is to take 4 under that caution, and then having to pit again, even if it's going to be a green flag, they'll probably just take 2. That would be my guess. What about you? What do you think?
Under green flag, definitely would take 2 tires, if not no tires, depending on how much fuel they want to get. Usually, my pit strategy is if you're getting 9 gallons or less, take no tires, unless you absolutely have to, like your truck is just not stable enough to race it around the track. However, you get more than 9 gallons, you can get 2 tires. If you get more than like 14 gallons, like 12, 30, 40 gallons, you could take 4 tires and still be down, ready to rock and roll before the fuel man gets done filling the truck. So it all depends. You got to go out there and practice, do different things like that to see what the timing and everything of it all is to give you the best edge to get out there and win the race.
Spoken like a man who knows his trucks at Talladega, sir.
I've done it a time or two, people would say. Let's see who we got in the crowd here. We got Corey Cook. Gonna pull him down and talk to him and see what he's got to say. Hello, Mr. Corey Cook. How you doing? You started in 39th today. You're now in 17th. That caution came out. It's putting you up in the pack, a contender to win the race. How you feeling now?
Well, I think my teammates get me in this position. I've been working with 28, 39, so I had to leave, and 98, working together to stay with the pack. And just, keep ourselves from going left now. Hopefully 98 can get us left back next caution.
All right, well, it's good to have you out here today, man. You've been running real good. It's good to see you're back in the contention again. And Paul Witt's up there in the room too, the number 98. I'll let him know that you said thanks for all his hard work to keep you up there, and hope to see you. It looks like you're gonna have to do one more pit stop. What's your pit strategy going to be?
Honestly, just trying to make it to the end. As far as I can, take fuel. I definitely don't want to make the next pit stop one of those where you're kind of making, you kind of not. I definitely want to be in the we're going to make it range.
I hear that. All right, buddy. We'll be rooting for you from the tower up here, and you want me to put you back with Paul Witt, the number 98, in his room?
Sure thing.
All right, buddy. Good luck to you, and thanks for coming out and racing with us today.
It's been a blast.
All right, and that was Corey Cook, folks, and looks like he's back in contention again, like he said. Doesn't matter if your partner's a lap down, 3 laps down, if they can race good with you to help you win it, it's definitely a gentleman's sport out here at Talladega. Everett somehow muscled his way back up to 2nd place out of the pits there. I don't know if he didn't decide to take no tires or not, but that could be dangerous, knowing from the tower what happened to Maurice Johnson when he got loose and kind of spun out a little bit there. We'll see as the race goes on.
Now, I'm really surprised to see the number 35 car of Gary Jenkins started in 2nd in today's race. He's in the top 20, but I never put him out of contention, I guess.
Yeah, I suspect he lost a pack, or from that wreck that happened earlier with Maurice Johnson. Those guys in front of him, they all got collected in that, and just basically couldn't catch back up. But now, because that caution came out, this changes things. Maurice Johnson's back in it with his partner Gary Jenkins. We saw the two of them dominate the field for such a long time. Everett Fastlane, with his pit strategy, no tires and lots of fuel, he's back up there in the top lane in 2nd place. Got LG Welly up there. I mean, it broke up the old farts click a little bit. Rick McKinney's up in the front. The Cracker Band's all the way back, but he's back on the lead lap again. We got, let's see, 24 trucks now together on the lead lap. It's anybody's game at this moment, and it all comes down to that one pit stop and who's going to be your drafting partner, would be my guess. I'm sure they're all in their respective team speaks and radio channels talking it out right now, deciding on what are we going to do, fellas. How are we going to bring this home?
Just some beautiful paints on these trucks as they come by at pit pace. Just following that pace car around and looking at all their paints. It's just absolutely some great works of art have gone into tonight's trucks. So hats off to the people who've designed a lot of these paint schemes tonight.
watch the whole field as they take off here as we're about to go green. And LG has gunned it.
Green,
Top
green,
6
green.
trucks there are all in unison, going together. The field's spreading out a little bit. Everett Fastlane is back up in the front with his pushing partner. Thomas Ackridge right behind Mr. Willie, and behind him is Dick Addison. We'll be working together, I'm sure.
And I think Everett just staying out of the damage early and possibly using a fast repair when he got into trouble there has really saved his race.
Look at that. Robert Pearson, Everett Fastlane was able to make a move on the outside and pass LG Welly and Rodney Smith and Thomas Ackridge.
It looks like he's kind of leaving Rodney Smith out to dry, but now it looks like Jay's coming in behind Rodney.
And just like that, Jay Anderson, who was so far behind, is now back up in the front, racing for the win, for the money.
That's Talladega. It's just absolutely crazy what can happen here with these restrictor plate racing.
Yes, sir. And I'm looking from the blimp here. You can see the field all stretched out as people are trying to stay connected to that draft, that streamline there. So after a couple more laps, we should see, 15, 20 cars all bunched up together on the loop pack.
Looks like that 322 car, Maurice Johnson, falling back, maybe having some engine trouble.
I suspect he's going back to pick up his partner, his race partners. And if I was a betting man, I would bet they're going to go hang out with all their draft buddies and their partners and get in line and make that pit stop all together, come in and out quick. I see Mr. Jenkins there, a few cars behind Maurice Johnson, so it looks like that's why he decided to come back, so he can reconnect with his draft partner.
Ah. Just great sportsmanship from teammates there.
That's Talladega when you're willing to go back 18, 19 places to reconnect with your buddy, and you still have a chance of going for the win. That's Talladega.
Cannot believe the speeds that these trucks get at this track. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Some hitting 195, 196 miles per hour in the draft.
Well, we got Jimbo and Paul Fletcher about 2.6 seconds behind that main pack. They're working together as best they can, but if they lose any more time, they will not be able to maintain speed and get that draft. They will not catch up to the main pack. They will be out of contention.
And if you've ever seen these trucks up close at a NASCAR truck race, I mean, they're tiny. They're not the size of a normal truck. These are over horsepowered, tiny little rockets.
And don't forget loud, like you mentioned before. It's a nice.
If you don't bring ear protection, you'll be paying 5 times more at the track for it, I guarantee that.
We have Andrew Malata back there. He is 1 lap down and has lost the pack for whatever reason. Tough break on him. Our D-license racer, our only one here today. He could be in contention for the mystery prize. You never know.
Being a Class D racer and competing and just being 1 lap down, still being in the race, that is a win for him. He has to.
It's dedication. I mean, How many times when I was there when I first started out? I've been in iRacing for 8 years. I know when I first started, I used to think to myself, how in the world are these guys so good? And the answer is thousands of hours, thousands of laps put into it. It's a big deal. You know, even the pro drivers come and race with us quite frequently. Some of them use their regular names, some of them use aliases because they don't want to be bothered, but they're out there, and there's many of them. From road racing, rally racing, NASCAR. I mean, they're here. They come and practice with us, and it's a pretty good feeling knowing that we can get out here and compete with some of the best drivers in the world.
Almost feels
And
like
we
it's
are
down to
3 wide.
3 wide sprint with what, we have 44 to go this time around.
Looks like we got ourselves a race today, and that's because of that one caution. They brought the whole field together, and everybody's trying to make their move to get the best position possible. Get out in front of everyone else.
Shuffling for air down the straightaway, 3 wide. I think just a little overcorrection and you could cause a huge, huge accident. But somehow they're keeping it all together. These drivers are the best.
Let's go in one of these trucks that's like forward back in the middle there so you can kind of see what it looks like. Here we are with Corey Cook that we spoke to earlier. He's right behind Mr. Michael Pegg. As you can see, he's got trucks on his outside, trucks on his inside, trucks behind him, trucks forward of him. It's like he's got nowhere to go. All he has to do is concentrate to stay as smooth as he possibly can. Don't push out too far to cause an accident while maintaining the speed of the line.
Makes me feel like, remember that time when I was 10 and I tried to juggle knives? It just didn't work out for me.
And that's why they call you Mr. Four Fingers. Going back to the Funkmaster German.
4.5.
And you can see the 3 wide action from inside his truck.
The rev of those engines just blasting through the backstretch. Just amazing. Some shifting going on up front.
It was like the 61 of Corey Cook. He wants to get up there in the front with the big boys. Going back to the blimp so we can see here, we got about 7 cars in the third lane, 7 more cars in the middle lane, and 7 or 8 cars in the bottom lane. We got some racing here, folks. It's 195-mile-an-hour parking lot.
It's truly a chess game. It's a 195-mile-per-hour parking lot. Exactly. I completely agree with that. At this point, it's a chess game. It's which is the fastest line? Where am I going to end up? Who's the fastest draft partner?
So far, it looks like no one can really get that third lane working as well as we hope it should. I suspect maybe it's some of the guys on the insider lanes or just pushing the hearts out. Or usually, if you're on that third lane, if you stick with it, those guys on the inside will heat up their engines enough. They got to back off enough for you to make that pass on that outside.
That number 9 of Brad Bothwell decided to try the upper lane and is losing 2 or 3 positions as he tried to follow the pack.
Yeah, he's got some help now. They should slowly gain a little ground and be right up there in the front again. It all depends on how those guys pushing those lead trucks on the inside lanes, if they can manage their temperatures on their trucks or not. Because if they get too hot and they start blinking, they've got to back off some fresh air. And that usually opens up the door, the opportunity for that top lane to make its move. Racing going on right now, folks. This is really a sight to see. I am truly fine, you know, truck drivers and iRacers today. I mean, this is really cool to watch this happen right now.
At this speed, 3 wide in Talladega in the middle lane, my heart rate would be about 220. These guys, 72.
45.
I think Mr. Michael Pegg and Mr. Robert Beers, when Beers was pushing Everett all this time, just within a half an inch from his bumper, he must be about a 15 heart rate right now. Cool as ice.
And it looks like Brad and crew gave up on that high lane, decided to come on back to the middle. And the guys in the back, they're jockeying for position. We're going to see who else can make it.
That 808 truck, I'd have to call him Robert Polar Bears. Just cold as ice on the bumper.
Do you know what kind of socks polar bears wear?
No, I don't. What kind of socks do polar bears wear?
They don't wear socks, they have bare feet.
Aha! Bare feet. Wah, wah, wah.
Uh-oh, we got some guys looking up there in the front. I hope that clears up there.
Well, they decided to drop back out of that high lane and realize the fast lanes are the middle and the inside, of course. That inside lane always seems to be the fastest at Talladega.
Well, it's unfortunate. It's like digging for gold. It's that high line you can't get around. It pays dividends the more you press the inside guys. If you could press them enough, they end up pushing too hard, forcing them to back off. But it's really hard to maintain your speed on that high lane, being 3 wide with 30, 40 laps left to go. It's kind of not worth it at this moment in time. But I'm sure when it comes down to 5 laps to go, every lane, every spot of the asphalt will be used to the best benefit that the drivers can get. And it looks like Jay Anderson, Maurice Johnson, and Gary Jenkins are trying to see if they can make that high line work where the others have failed.
We literally can't count out anybody right now, even in the top 10, top 20. I mean, lots of laps left.
There's some amazing racing we're seeing right now. We still got all 24 trucks that started on the lead lap or on the lead lap. However, in about 21st place, we got 4 trucks that lagged. Not sure if they're doing that on purpose or if they went back to pick up a friend. Or if they're just waiting for the big ones to happen and preserve their trucks as much as possible at the end. Going back up to the front to watch this 3 wide action here. And we still got Brad Mothwell decided to jump in front of Rick McKinney. And then Jay Anderson, Maurice Johnson, and Gary Jenkins, that 3 that started on the outside, had joined the other 2. Now they got 5 trucks up there in the top lane.
Oh. Oh, it looks like about 10, 12, 13 cars involved in that.
Let's go back and see what happened here. Oh, they were 4 wide. Let's see why it got 4 wide first. I got to rewind it to figure out how and why. Oh, I see. They came below Brad Bothwell on the high lane there, and ended up making it 4 wide. He's pinched in between the 61 of Corey Cook. Corey Cook probably doesn't know they're 4 wide. He's trying to give him as much room as he can. The 98 is stuck down there, and they bing and bounce around like a ping pong ball, and ends up sending Corey Cook and Rick McKinney sideways, and that's all she wrote, with the exception of the front 5 cars. Let's see how many people get scooped up in this row.
Those front 5 cars are going to be excited about it with just 33 to go. Able to pit under caution.
Wow, look at that, guys. How many people got caught up in that one? And that's what they call the big one. We're going to go back and look at that again. That's a big one.
Yeah, can we watch the replay on that? That was just...
Yeah, four wide. I mean, Rick McKinney, bad move on him. He's a really good pro driver. Been doing this for like 24 years, racing in Sims, and he just forced Brad 4 wide and Corey Cook, and they really couldn't hold their line, which is really tough to do if you're not expecting it, and caused the big one to happen there.
That's unfortunate, but you know, he's trying to move up, trying to take a risk, and unfortunately the risk didn't pay this time around. And that took out a lot of drivers that weren't taking that same risk. Talladega is renowned for the big one, and obviously this was it. Usually it happens with the last 10 to go. This one with 33 to go.
We'll see how many guys still have their fast repair. We had a couple that had to tow, it looks like. David Adamson, our pole setter, and Gary Jinkson, our outside pole setter, both are in the pits with broken trucks. It looks like they had to use their tow back to the pit lane, and they may go a lap or 2 down from here on out, which is very bad, with, like you said, with only 32 laps left in the race. That's not where I would want to be for sure.
I mean, you put in the time, and you're in the position to actually win the race, and to have something unfortunate like that happen, it's you know, you understand it's sim racing, but it's never a good feeling when it happens to you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I myself would have backed off. I would not have done that maneuver that Rick McKinney did. Not sure what he was thinking or why, or maybe he thought he had the low side clear or something. I'm not sure. That's unlike him, to say the least, to do something like that. Let's see if anybody will benefit from that. We have Brent Lee. He's 1 lap down, but it doesn't look like he's up far enough to get the wave by. Now we have Brent Lee a lap down, Darren Reeser 1 lap down, Mike Costa, David Addison, Gary Jenkins, Maurice Johnson, Douglas Johnson, Jay Anderson, all a lap down.
Rick, watch the replay, Rick, after the race.
Paul Witt and Thomas Holder's 4 laps down. Lots of trucks really suffered the consequences in the big one here at Talladega on lap 155.
I see a lot of race chatter going on. I think quite a few of the drivers pretty angry right now.
Rightfully so, Tim. I must say, you know, as an avid iRacer myself, I would be a little heated, to say the least, at a certain individual who should know better. He should definitely know better. But all is fair, love and war, and we all would soon forget about it and be out there racing at a different track in another day with another set of good old fellas, and things happen, and we we have short tempers, but we certainly, in a short amount of time, we forget it too. It's all about having
that's
fun.
one of the great things about sim racing is it really brings you together. I mean, you can cause an accident one day and the next day be somebody's best friend and they're cheering you on to a win. So it's all about sportsmanship and just keeping a cool level head and trying to know that, hey, you know, we've all caused them. It happens to the best of us.
I'm just amazed, Tim, of how long these guys went with 24 trucks 3 wide at Talladega. That's a feat for people who have never done it, who might be watching watching the broadcast here. You know, our friends and family, our wives and our sisters, you know, like Janin, could be watching today thinking, well, what's the big deal? It's like driving 3 wide down a 3-lane highway, you know. But I'm telling you, it's a lot tougher. And then in many other places, there's a lot more wrecks and a lot less people who stick around for it too, as well. It's tough to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, your hands start to sweat. You start to almost feel like you've got tunnel vision. I mean, you're going 195 miles per hour, 3 wide, and try to sometimes kick out for a little bit of air, get that air to your engine flow. You know, so your car keeps the speed, doesn't overheat. And just one small miscalculation, and you're into the car next to you, causing the big one.
We got Doug Johnson, who's 2 laps down, and we're going to pull him down and have a chat with him and see what's going on. Well, hello, Mr. Johnson. How you doing today?
Well, not too good right now.
Yeah, I see that you're now what, 2 laps down?
Oh yeah, at least. I've been sitting here behind the tow truck for a while.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know if you're listening to the live broadcast. It looked like Rick McKinney was pushing Brad Bothwell on the outside there, making the highline work, and everybody was doing real good for like 15 laps, 3 wide. And he forced it 4 wide, and I don't think that Corey Cook, who was underneath him, he tried his best to hold it down 4 wide. And they end up connecting just enough to send them both around, and it caused that massive pileup, you know, the big one at Talladega here. It's unfortunate it happened to you, but now that you're a couple laps down, you know, what's your strategy from here on out? You gonna maybe get behind a partner and push them to the win?
No, I'm gonna be able to.
Thank you. I'm kind of having fun. Long race.
Oh,
Didn't
no,
realize it was
Doug,
like
man, that was a
188
race,
laps
brother.
at Talladega. I thought it was gonna be like
That's
60.
unfortunate, man, but I do appreciate that you came out and joined us today.
Yeah, 10-4. It was fun. I think I've got pretty heavy fast, but I'm probably track.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, brother, but we'll definitely see you next weekend at our normal scheduled weekly race, and I look forward to maybe having another one of these here shortly, maybe next month, and hopefully you do better than in that one.
All right, 10-4. Appreciate it.
All right, brother, you take it easy now.
You too, man.
And there you go. It's unfortunate. Like he said, he used one of his quick repairs on a scratch or something like that, and now he has a blown engine forced to tow, and there's nothing he can do about it but sit and watch the rest of the race from the pit lane.
Yes, no, I'll tell you. I mean, this race started with a bunch of beautiful cars, perfect paints. Now you've got a lot of dented fenders and doors.
I see a lot of duct tape out there too. I think they call it speed tape though.
200-mile-per-hour tape.
You know, a fun fact about me, I'm an aircraft mechanic, and we actually use tape on ours too. Only difference is it's basically duct tape with a thin layer of aluminum foil type metal on the top of it. It's pretty wild.
And they're going green.
And yes, sir, we're back green. And it's Evan Fastlane out in the front, still leading. He is determined to stay up there. He is going for a win today, at least a podium position. His partner, Robert Bears, 808. Mr. Bare Feet is pushing Everett out there. Working good together today.
The way he drives next to that bumper just cold his ice like a polar bear, I'll tell you. I don't know. What do you?
A gummy bear.
Ah. I don't know what book you get these jokes out of, but you might want to throw it away. Set it on fire. Do something.
It's good old-fashioned dad jokes. So Robert Bear's taking a look at him here. He's also for safety rating. 3,348 iRating. Good on Robert. Funk for a second there, he blinked out, but hopefully it clears up. No more pit stops needed, folks. It's a race to the end.
I think that's Jeremy's sister. I think that's Jeremy's sister watching a dance stream on Twitch, causing him to blink.
Jeremy, better kick your sister off of your Wi-Fi. She's going to cause you to wreck.
Watching a Dance Revolution video or something.
Yellow flag is out.
Ah, and the yellow's out again.
Alright, going back.
Well, this is going to give everybody a chance to fuel who didn't have a chance the last time.
And it looks like Rick McKinney's caught up in that one again. Looks like he was the victim this time. The Cracker Man decided he wanted some of Rick McKinney's cheese and came up into his lane and took him out. It's unfortunate. Rit had such a good race to Cracker Man. We've been watching him for a long time now, and that's all it takes. Guys going that fast, a split second, you go just a little too high, you end up taking the guy out in front of you, and it's very unfortunate for Rick. Sure, he ain't too happy right now, being the main cause of the previous wreck, and now he's getting wrecked out himself. Tippers are going high, and we only have a few laps left in the race. Hopefully these guys get it together.
A lot of that might be karma. Some of it could be, maybe like a pitcher who hits a guy with a baseball, and then when that pitcher's up to bat, who are they throwing at?
He served him up some rich crackers with a slice of karma.
Smells like Limburger cheese.
And we got guys going in for some repairs and tires and fuel.
It's just a lot of fun, and it's really a lot of fun to watch these such high rating competitive drivers wheel their machines at 200 miles per hour. It's just very impressive. But to see when this race restarts, we might have just 20, 21, 22 laps to go. This is going to be a true shootout.
I agree, Tim. It'd be just like our a lot of guys like Mitch Qual's been doing it for years. He's got like 30,000 something hosted races, and most of them are all like quick 18 lap. You do 9 laps, do a pit, and do 9 more for the win.
Yep.
Here at the Super Speedway, just to have fun, just to get your quick fix in. You come home from work, you jump in a quick Mitch Qual's race and increase your skill or maintain your current skills and meet some new draft buddies and have a little fun. And here we got the top 5. Mr. Bothwell has made it all the way up to first, followed by LG Welly, who's an old fart, Craig White, who's an old fart, Alcina, who's a old fart, and Douglas Doucette, who's an old fart. So 4 out of the 5 top cars right now are the old farts, and They got more on the lead lap with them. Only 17 cars remain on the lead lap who could potentially help these old farts bring victory lane home for the win.
And to think most of them qualified in the middle of the pack, and then halfway through the race, they were all just staying with each other in the middle of the pack. They were pitting correctly. They were staying together as a pack, and now look at where they're at.
I think they should change their name to Wolfpack Racing because they act like a pack of wolves out there. Hungry, on the prowl, ready to pounce, ready to go to victory.
And just surrounding the other drivers. I mean, just stay in the middle like that for so long, and to use the patience and the wit about you to know that, hey, this is a 188 lap race. I am not going to win the race on lap 3 or lap 30 or even lap 128.
Yep, definitely the old farts. What they say, you know, the older you are, the wiser you are. I think it's showing today. Them old farts, you know, they took a shot at their Geritol in the pit stops, and they're ready to rock and roll.
It's that fiber in their diet.
I mean, they have a huge advantage, Tim. I must say, most of them got those Depends on. They don't have to get out of their trucks to go for a bathroom break. They're okay. They relieve themselves and get back to racing.
This is true. This is true. I don't see any Depend sponsored trucks out there today, though. I'm surprised.
Someone was saying Huggies are cheaper and more comfortable. You know, as a fun fact, Tim, while we're under caution here, you know, a lot of iRacers really want Ford to put a truck out there. It shouldn't be just Chevy and Toyota. I mean, really, they need to pay the dough to iRacing and get a Ford truck out there. We want to see a Ford truck.
Absolutely, and this has been something I've been talking about for years. That, you know, it's truly missing. And I mean, you look at a lot of the other leagues too, and we have a lot of you know, sponsored cars that just aren't putting their cars on the tracks for iRacing in a lot of the various leagues, and you really don't know why, because it's good for them, it's good for iRacing, it's good for us, and it's just good for the sport in general. And sim racing is a true sport. I mean, you have tens of thousands of dollars in some of these competitive races that are going on.
And it's only getting better, Tim. I know the latest release notes, iRacing increased its prize pool for the Pro Series to $100,000 for the year. That's big money. I mean, this is turning into a serious sport, and a lot of these car manufacturers need to get on board and get their vehicles out there. I know Old Blue himself has said it many times, been saying it for years. He has the old Ford symbol on the back of his Chevy truck because he'd rather be driving his Ford. A lot of these guys are very partial to their makes and their models, and I think it would behoove of the Ford Motor Company to go ahead and pony up the dough. They can afford it and get themselves a Ford truck out here. We all want to see it. We all love our Fords, and they rightfully so belong in this pack in iRacing.
I mean, they instantly added the Chevy Camaro to the A Series. I mean, why not add the Ford truck to the C Series? I just don't understand it.
Well, if you know anybody that's in corporate office at Ford Motor Corporation, maybe we should have a chat with them someday, Tim, and tell them to get their heads out of their butts and put it in there.
I grew up always saying to myself, you know, Ford stands for first on race day. Camaro stands for carry a mechanic and repair often.
So I'm going to go on the nose of Alcina here, and you can see Old Blue sporting his Ford badge on the back of his wing.
I do, I see it.
He's been there for years. It used to make me laugh. And it's funny, too, because you can't delete the Chevy symbol off of the Chevy truck if you go and edit it in the paint. All right, looks like we're coming around to the stripe with about, 23 laps? Yeah, it should be about 23 laps to go.
this is going to be a sprint. Quite a few trucks out there in the top 10 with a lot of damage, though. It should be interesting to see how this restart goes.
Well, if you ask me, it's all down to this. And we have Michael Pegg, the limo man, up there in 5th. Robert Bears, Everett Fastlane, Jeremy Funk, and all the rest of the top 10 guys are old farts. So it's about half and half. We're about to see what happens here.
Green, green, green.
So on Brad to go, and he's off. He's got kind of a little too much of a lead there. It's going to allow LG Welly and Al Cena to go past him on the outside.
And one of the big things you don't think about on starts is you don't want to get way past the car, you know, way in front of the car behind you, because then you're going to lose that draft and that outside line's going to take over.
Look at that move by the Canadian, Craig White. He jumped up there just in time, knowing that the top lane is going to slingshot around Mr. Brad Bothwell because he jumped the gun.
Came around, slingshot around, right down into the fast lane.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's going to be stuck back there for some time now as that high line gets filled up by more and more trucks.
I think Everett running in 8th's got something to prove here.
Right now, he's stuck down there until a spot opens. He's not with his drafting partner, Robert Bears. The two of them, it's going to be some time.
Oh, somebody's gotten laid out in the middle. Who is that? He's got enough room. He's got enough room. That is Everett. He's back down. Might have been just going for some extra air. No,
So,
Everett's taking it 3 wide. They're scrunching him.
Oh, no. 3 wide.
He's pushing him to the high line.
They're stuck in each
Oh! He brought him back down, bringing out the caution.
Go back and rewind and look at that.
2 trucks occupying 1 space and time equals, well, 2 bodies of mass. What is that, physics? It's been a long time since physics.
Was that Newton or somebody? I can't remember.
I don't know, something about gravity and 2 spaces occupying the same space. Yeah, usually doesn't work too well.
They almost held it.
A mass in motion tends to stay in motion.
Looking at the replay again.
You'd have to ask my wife about that. I barely graduated high school, much less college.
Ooh, that was another big one. So, I mean, Everett and number 11, Thomas Ackridge, they just kind of got like stuck on each other there. It's weird. Thomas was inside of Everett's truck, and he just could not get off of him. A little bit of drivers connecting and a little bit of iRacing net code forcing the two together like that. That's what we call a racing incident. It's no one's fault, really. It's just something that kind of happens when you're unlucky and you get too close to another driver.
Yeah, it's a little bit of side draft, a little bit of net code, and just wrong space and wrong time.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster to me, Tim.
Thomas Ackridge at this point might want to like form a band, call it the Ackridge Boys. Probably wants to retire that truck, maybe get a banjo or a guitar. that close with just 19 laps to go. It's just unfortunate to see another caution at this time.
Well, that takes Fastlane way down out of contention there. His draft partner, Robert Bears, is up in 4th right now. And Jeremy Funk in 5th right behind him. Peter Bailey is hanging in 6th place. Rodney Smith is hanging in 7th. Corey Cook in 8th. Limo Man, Michael Pegg is in 9th. Followed by Brad L. Bothwell in 10th. However, you can't discount the old farts holding the top 3 positions right now. I suspect as we go green, take a look at those top 3 guys and see how they jockey their positions, how they're going to work together to try to give one of them the best chance of taking home that $100 today.
Now you said how many people are getting paid today? The top 5, top 10? How many?
So today the top 7 will be getting paid, but the price value varies significantly. You know, $100 for first and only $20 for second, $10 for third. We want kind of that. We went to Limo Man and I decided we'd go, you know, winner takes all type of thing. We almost went, you know, $100 for first and 50 for second and 50 for third or something like that. But we broke it up a little bit to give, you know, all the other drivers out there, you know, a little run for the money, so to speak.
Well, it's going to make it an interesting finish for sure for those that you know, have a place to try to sneak in there for first to get that $100. They're going to be jockeying position like a horse race in these last few laps.
It's going to be interesting to see for sure. I kind of wish I was down there in the mix of things. 195 miles an hour with my hair on fire running around with these good old boys. I kind of miss it already. I don't think I'm cut out for this broadcaster stuff, but it is still kind of fun in a way hanging out with Tim, and I do appreciate you coming out today and with your sweet, savory voice and helping me broadcast, you and your lovely wife, Michelle, and Mr. Hannah. He left us early, decided to go talk with his buddies up there, but all in all, I think today, no matter what happens from here on out, we've had a lot of cautions, but we've had a hell of a lot of good racings and a good time. And
I've definitely had a good time.
It's
been a lot of fun. Been a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
No problem, Tim. You're welcome anytime, buddy. I'd like to see you on the track. I wonder if you can race as good as you sound.
Trucks, not so much. I think my highest iRating ever was just about 1,700. That's all listed in my iRacing profile. I'm more of a rallycross guy. I haven't actually done a competitive rallycross race in just about 3 months. Took a little break, got a little burnout, got up to about 3,100 iRating in rallycross, and then kind of took a break on that. And you know, I did motocross for years, and so rally was kind of my thing, and I kind of found a niche in it. Really enjoyed it, and got burnt out, and just really took a break from iRacing for a few months. Did some practice laps here and there, but haven't really raced the trucks in probably a good solid year or two. I think got up to about a 1,600 or 1,700 iRating, and then rally came out, and the rest was history. And every time I do trucks now, I just get wrecked or cause a wreck, and iRating's dropped so low that I think it might be in the negative.
Well, if you're ever interested, Tim, and all the other race fans out there watching, you know, join Race Fanatics with us. I'd be more than happy to coach, just like I did Limo Man. And to me, it's all about having fun, getting out there with a good group of guys and girls and running around the track and having some fun. And what I always tell people is, if you're not having fun, you know, it's time to do something else. You know, we only got one life to live, and I'm more than willing to share my knowledge and experience with anyone who's willing to listen to me. Come out there with a good attitude, have some fun. That's what it's about.
Sounds like a good time. I might just take you up on that.
And because I'm kind of lonely.
Craig White is going to be starting the race in the lead here. Craig White.
Yep, the Canadian himself, followed by Old Blue on the outside.
I always thought Canadians. I mean, my wife is actually from Michigan.
That's like the toilet bowl of Canada or something like that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
she's from Upper Michigan. Upper Peninsula. Well, really not the Upper Peninsula, but up in Grand Rapids, very northern Michigan. And she's been in Cincinnati. She's a Michigan Grand Rapids native, but she's been in Cincinnati now for, you know, a little over 10 years. And she said the Canadians only like ice hockey. So I'm wondering if he thinks he's racing an ice car or something here.
Well, it is kind of like a rink, so to speak. Craig's good people. There's not a finer gentleman out there. He runs the Old Farts League, and they race pretty much every day. Fantastic racing.
Or wait, as my wife calls it,
tough.
my wife calls it hookie. Hookie is what she calls it.
Hookie? What you talking about, E?
Hookie, eh? But this is going to be a heck of a restart. We're going to have, what, 15 to go at the restart?
I'm showing 16 to go at the restart.
16 to go at the restart. Amazing. It's going to go quick.
But my software might be wrong. Who knows? 171 of 188. So that, yeah, at the line it should be 16.
Well, like I said, I barely finished high school. You need to ask the wife to do the mathematics.
If I could go back in time and show my teacher my cell phone with Google at my disposal, she probably would have left me alone. All right, going to the blimp.
Here we go.
It's on Mr. Craig White, our favorite Canadian, in the number 3 truck, holding the first place position right now. It's on him to go.
That 808 car behind LJ Whaley, I would not count that highline out. That 808 car has been just on those bumpers pushing all day long. This should be just an amazing restart.
And they're in their restart zone, and so he can go anytime.
Green, green, green.
And they're off. Oh no, LG checked up a little bit. Looks like 808 of Robert Bears might have some damage on the front of his truck from that.
I think LG was anticipating Craig to start sooner, and instead Craig actually started past the green.
Spoiler there.
Interesting tactic.
And the front of two of those. That's not a good time for that to happen for those two drivers. Forced to push for the win. I mean, if he gets out there in fresh air, he's only going to hurt himself and any driver who's behind him pushing him. There's no way they can keep up with two fresh trucks down there on the bottom.
Yeah, unfortunately, that 99 car now of LG Whaley is totally damaged and dropped back all the way to 7th.
Yeah, he's going to continue falling back unless farts partners, like we talked about before, put him in the middle of a couple of little farts and they can help push him to at least. And we're on lap 174, 188. It's a shootout. It's anybody's race. We're seeing what's going on now.
'97 of Jeremy Funk trying to make that outside line work. Needs to put some Bootsy Collins on in that car. Get the funk going.
There's only 14 trucks on the road. Yeah, we're 3 wide. Everett's making his move. Robert came up, and like we said before, that's a bad move, and I don't know if Everett realizes it or not that Robert's really damaged.
Oh,
there it goes.
Yellow flag is out.
We kind of knew that was going to happen, but unfortunately, Everett
and it looks like LG and the number 3 of Craig are the only two that survived the incident.
Let's see. I'm going at the replay here. See what happened. Yeah, Everett got just low enough and pushed Robert Bearson, spun him around, took everybody out. I don't think Everett realizes, if anybody's listening to the broadcast, let him know in the driver's channel that Robert's truck was heavily damaged from that connection with LG, and Everett probably didn't realize that, which is why he was stuck so far up Robert's rear end and caused that wreck there. He probably doesn't know that.
This really puts Corey Cook and Craig White in a position, you know, in front and behind each other to really push for a dominant finish here. Because LG's truck is damaged. I just don't see him being competitive at this point.
Yeah, and right behind him is Alcina, and he's got a lot of heavy damage on his rear end as well.
Looks like the fast lane is going to be that low lane. Probably the people who can get down into that line as quickly as possible are going to have the best shot to be competitive at the finish here.
You know, Corey Cook's, like he said in his strategies, I want to hang in there and have a clean truck to the end, hopefully get lucky, and it looks like it's kind of paying off a little bit here. He's going in for some fresh tires, or maybe possibly to reconnect with some of his race buddies. Make sure he's got no damage, use a quick repair.
I would think he had to have needed fuel then, just with 12 to go. I mean, why would you come off the the second position there? That you're literally in the top spot, and to drop out of it.
Well, I mean, Krager has no damage. He's got a flawless truck here. I'm looking at it, looking good. LG is beat up on the front, the back, the side. I hope these drivers know if they're pushing him, he's going absolutely nowhere, and he's going nowhere fast. Here comes Rick McKinney. He's also pretty beat up. He's got open holes in the front of his hood. His front bumper's all caved in. I mean, it sounds like his engine doesn't even have max power of it. Perhaps he got the weight by. 18 of Jay Anderson's all beat up. The 96 of Rodney Smith is all beat up. The 35 of Gary Jenkins is all beat up. Looks like Maurice Johnson just came out of the pit. He's got a fresh truck. But right behind him, the 82 is all beat up. It's crazy, folks. How many trucks are all beat up staying out there? Hopefully they go in like Corey Cook did and get that truck fixed, because there's still 10 laps, 9 laps to go. That's a lot of laps here at Talladega. So Corey Cook was able to make it in and out of the pits and still maintain a decent position.
It might play in his favor. I mean, I've seen it happen.
Nine laps is, 7, 8, 6 laps is plenty of time to make a good run on that outside. And a lot of these beat up cars I mentioned, they're all pulling in here, as you can see on the replay. And Corey's moving right up. I know Al is going to be in big trouble. LG is going to be in big trouble because they got beat up cars and they didn't go in and get it fixed.
Well, they're probably out of fast repairs, I would think, at this stage of the game. What do you think?
It's definitely possible, Tim. That's a good point.
And if you know you're out of fast repairs and you decide to pit, I mean, you could be kept for 5 minutes in the pits. You don't know how much time you're going to be kept. I mean, you could leave early, but you might not help the truck, so you might be pitting for no reason.
That's true, and these guys with these beat up trucks, I mean, they could go 3 or 4 laps to stay up there. A caution comes out, and we finish under yellow, and they place in the top 7. They place in the money. It's all a chess game.
Right now, the real question is, who's going to come out the king?
Well, I hate to say this, but Craig is kind of a sitting duck. His partners in crime, which is the old farts, everyone behind him is beat up, and he might not know that. They might not know that their truck is that damaged. They might not be talking to each other as much as they should, and they're going to try to push him, but they're going to be slower. So whatever clean trucks get to that outside, they're going to be king. They're going to bring home the win. I mean, we're looking at the 61 of Corey Cook. He's beat up. He might be out of quick repairs. He's not going to go anywhere. I can see inside of his hood at his engine. 603 of Peter Bailey. He's got a clean truck. He must have had a quick repair remaining.
And I mean, the 96 of Rodney Smith, his whole front is damaged. Same with the 99 LG.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody we haven't really been talking much about right now is Darren. Number 34. His truck doesn't look bad.
Yeah, good old Darren. He's an old fart, but I don't... If him and Craig can connect up there, they might have a shot of either Craig or Darren bringing home the win for the old farts. Otherwise, the other two, Rodney Smith and LG Willie, with the damage they have, they're just going to impede their partner's ability to take home the win.
This is good. This has been an extraordinarily exciting race, and the finish is going to leave nothing on the table, I have a feeling.
So I'm going through the field, knowing the drivers that I know. Brenton Lee has a clean truck. Look for him to make his move. He might even connect with Darren on the outside and make their move to go to the front. On further back, we got Jimbo who's hanging in there in 8th place. He's got a clean truck. Everyone else around him, though, unfortunately, is damaged. Except for back here in the back, 97 of the Funk Master, who's 1 lap down, but he could potentially help old Jimbo get up there and get a win if they can connect, because they both have solid, clean trucks. I don't know if they're aware or not, if they're listening to the live broadcast, but there's a lot of damaged trucks in front of them. They could potentially pull this one off with only 7 laps remaining in the race.
I mean, we got the 34 of Darren Reeser and Corey Cook right behind him in the 61, who just pitted, obviously for maybe a little bit of fuel, maybe a quick repair of some tires. But you've got LG in front of them, and they're staring at his back of his truck all smashed in. So they know he's going to be slow. It's just a matter of how are they going to be able to get around him? Are they going to be able to drop to the bottom? How are they going to work in?
I suspect in their TeamSpeak channel, the old farts, they're going to tell LG to get his ass out of the way and let Darren go for the win. Or they might say, stay up there, LG, let's try to get top 7 together.
Well, here we go. This is going to be an amazing
65 and 9, I'll be staying down here. I'm pretty beat up. Go ahead and pass me on the outside.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in their chat room right now, I'll tell you that. It's all on Krager, the Canadian.
Green flag, green flag.
And we're off. It's a clean start. LG's coming. Nope.
LG.
See, he's just losing way too much speed.
LG crossed the finish, the start finish before Craig did. Is that a penalty here?
No, as long as he's not a full truck length behind. As long as his tail doesn't go past Craig's truck.
Yeah, he was trying to get that jump for momentum, but it's just not holding up, especially on that outside line.
Those trucks just too. I suspect a couple of these guys in the back back with clean trucks are going to make a run on the outside, provided someone with a damaged truck doesn't jump up there with them and slow them down. They might have a potential of bringing it home to victory lane.
The 34 truck just has no place to go up Darren Reeser unless he wants to take a 3 wide on the outside, and if nobody goes with him, then he's going to be stuck out there stranded.
He's an old fart through and through. Darren is, and he's doing his best to push his buddy LG. He doesn't realize LG is like super damaged.
And they're taking it 3 wide.
That Highline's going to work. No, we got to caution.
Yellow flag is out.
Nope. Green for like 1 or 2 laps, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think this is going to leave about a 2 or 3 lap shootout, isn't it?
Yep. See what happened. Oh. It's like Jay Anderson got taken out by David Addison. Not sure what happened there, if it was net code or what. I'm gonna try to get back to it and take a look. Go look at his nose. See what we can see here.
This
No,
is,
it
I mean,
wasn't
this is going to leave Rodney Smith and Darren Reeser on the outside, if I'm not mistaken, when they go to restart.
It looks like Jay Anderson, for whatever reason, just lost it all on his own.
He's been battling all day. I mean, literally battling from the middle of the pack to the front, to the middle of the pack, back to the front. And he's...
Yeah. No one touched him. He just lost control all on his own. Maybe tried to, like what happened with Maurice Johnson, wiggle a little bit, and that's all it takes. And she comes flying around with that aero push and old tires. So now the 96 of Rodney Smith is going to start on the outside. And he's beat up just as bad as LG was. LG, however, will be pushing Craig White on the inside, and Craig White is the only clean truck up here in the top 3. Darren Reeser, however, has a nice clean truck, and he'll be pushing Rodney Smith, but I don't know if he knows how beat up Rodney Smith's front end is, because he really can't see it from where he's at. I wish I was in the old farts room. I would tell Brent Lee and Darren to go run for the money on the outside. 2 clean trucks, they got a shot at it. Well, as you can see, folks, Talladega is 2.65 miles long for 1 lap. It is 540 feet above sea level. The current track tip is 114 degrees Fahrenheit, which might explain why some of the guys are getting pretty loose.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to take it from the low line right into the high line. That track temperature could really come into play here.
Yes, sir. When you're in traffic with arrow push and all tires of 114 track temp, anything's about to happen. As you can see here, just a few moments ago. The current weather is partly cloudy. There's no fog, no humidity, and just 1 mile per hour wind. The air temp is only 76, which is surprising that the track temp is that high. But it is what it is. That's dynamic weather for you. Anything could happen.
And at Talladega, I mean, it just absorbs that heat.
Yeah, Jay, it's on YouTube.
Laps to go. I think it'll be 3 laps to go once we take the green flag. Again, today's race was brought to you by Georgia Limousine. They serve the greater Atlanta area, and you can visit them at galimo.net. Mr. Michael Pegg, always picking up people at the Atlanta airport, chauffeuring people around. Anywhere from the little guy who could rent one of his Cadillacs to big businessmen who need stretch Humvees. Thanks to Mr. Michael Pegg at Georgia Limousine for donating $100 to today's race events for prizes. And as we get down to the last few laps of the race, thanks everybody for watching, if you're watching, and thanks to Tim for co-hosting and using his sweet savory voice to broadcast with me. And all the drivers who participated today. Sorry about all the cautions and the wrecks, and you know, that's what happens at Talladega. Everyone's racing kind of hard, trying to get in those positions to get a prize and be the top guy to kind of brag to everybody else. And it is what it is. And be quiet until we start green here and get ready for the final few laps. A quick 3-lap shootout for the money.
This is what it all comes down to right here. 3 laps. Few remaining cars without damage. Everybody's going to be vying for a position. And hopefully we don't get another caution or it's over.
That's right. I'm sure these guys who are damaged are praying for a caution so they can get in the top 7 for the money.
Should mention only 11 cars on the lead lap.
Wow. Yeah, we've had 3 big ones today and taken out a lot of trucks. Started with 42 trucks today, and now only 11 remain on the lead lap. The top 7 pay out money with a few mystery prizes to be thrown out in there as well. So those trucks that are still in the race, even if you're a lap or 2 down, you still could potentially be in the money for the mystery prize.
I've really been impressed by Corey Cook today. I mean, coming from starting 39th, and he's running 6th on this restart with 3 to go. Could be interesting.
Yep, he's done a fine job.
It's not easy to wheel around Talladega.
See if he can maintain that 6th place to be in it for the money or better.
Pace car's off.
Alrighty, going live. It's all down to this, folks. Don't hold your breath. Anything can happen. Creating right is in the restart area. It's all up to him. And he's off.
Green, green, green.
'96 car of Rodney Smith dropping down into that fast lane, that load lane, trying to get into that fourth spot.
Darren's got a clean shot on that high lane. Let's see if he can't connect with somebody else and make a move. We got the 603 of Peter Bailey. Him and Darren might be able to hook up and do something here.
Peter Bailey's trying to go to the outside, but nobody wants to go with him.
Because all 5 of the trucks in the low line are all old farts. They're all teammates. And that's what happens. Unfortunately, even though all those trucks are damaged, they're teammates, and Peter Bailey's got no one to work with.
It'll be 1 to go this time around. White flag coming out.
And we have the white flag, folks, 188 laps. Peter Bailey's on the outside. He's trying to get a partner to help push him up, but the old farts have got the low line.
Craig White still with a commanding lead.
Too little, too late for the outside lane. He needed a couple more trucks to come help him out earlier on. And still going to go.
They're going to go.
Go around to the front. It is... I can't tell. What in the world's going on?
Looks like the 52 of Brent Lay.
Of who? Brent Lee? What in the world? That is the craziest finish I've ever seen in any race.
And Peter Bailey right behind him, and then Darren. Craig White dropped all the way to 5th.
We got to go back and look at that.
Yep, good one there, Brent.
We're going to follow the last lap here of Brent Lee as he comes in and takes the win. Right now, he's on a low line, taking the stripe for the final lap. It looks like there's no hope in sight for him. This is insane.
Yeah, he just wheels the finish, and then Peter Bailey just 21 thousandths behind him.
.021. Wow.
Only 8/100ths of a second separating the top 3.
Peter Bailey made an awesome move there. As Brent Lee comes and takes the win. Wow, look at that.
Just an amazing finish.
Amazing race, guys. Amazing finish. Very fun, very entertaining. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks for our host, George the Limousine. Thanks to you, Tim, and your lovely wife, Michelle, for helping me out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And now I've got to go talk to the fellas and hand out the prizes. See y'all guys next time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. I stopped streaming now. We're good. Let me go talk to these guys. That was nuts.
That was insane. That was insane. Who would have thunk? I mean, I knew their cars weren't damaged, but for LG to remain right behind Craig that time. I mean, I thought LG was going to get second, and then Brent Lee came out of nowhere.
Like, how far back did the prizes go? Like, the third or what?
Hey, if you could shoot me the stream on shoot me the stream link on iRacing, like in a PM, I'd appreciate it.
Thanks for the race, Russell.
It was tons of fun, man.
I'll send a link.
Yeah, if you could send me the link on just as a PM on iRacing, it'd be fun to watch on my 75-inch TV, maybe tomorrow afternoon or something. It'd be great to watch it back. So I appreciate it, bro. Hey, I appreciate you having me. Hopefully we can do it again someday.
Yeah, sounds fun.
If
Probably next month.
Yeah, if I knew everybody in the field, it'd be a lot
That was probably the longest and most intense race I've ever done in my entire iRacing career.
It's a lot more fun, but you know, I don't know these guys at all through beans. A couple of them I've raced with, but I'd say maybe 5 in the whole field I've raced with several times, but it was years ago probably. I mean, Gary Jenkins and I used to run that.
Nashville said to thank everybody. He couldn't get his voice. He couldn't get his voice to come out on in the race. He said thanks for everybody for coming out. It was a great race.
Right now in TeamSpeak.
Yep, that was fun. Good to see everybody.
Racing, I'd appreciate it, because then that way I can bring it up on my TV and just click on it on my TV tomorrow.
Well, you guys take care. I'm off.
Okay, bro.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Take it easy, man.
Yep, you too.
Yep. Good race, guys. Astro team's still here. Hell of a race, man. Catch you later.
Test. Okay, that's all wrong. So I gotta figure out why this is all wrong. Let's go to here. Figure out what's going on. Yeah, because some reason my mic's like broadcasting all the time, and it never used to do that. So I'll figure it out, I guess. Figure out what's going on with it. Should be the TeamSpeak link. I screwed something up somewhere down the line, apparently. Unfortunate, but true. Let's figure out what the heck's going on with that. Mic aux 3. What's going on with that? Okay, check. It should be TeamSpeak audio capture. So check. And that's not happening. So let's figure out why. Test, test, test. Test, test. Test, test. Test, test, test. That's it, microphone chat. Okay, what's this one say? That's it, earphone chat. Check, check, check. I don't know. Don't know. Check, 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 check. Put that back here. Check, check, check. Alright, playback. Should be in game. Capture. Check, check, check. Alright, I'm hoping this will be good. Alright, I'm stopping the stream.